Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 2 of USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival, coming to you live from the Greater Columbus Convention Center here in Columbus, Ohio. This is the Female Raw Pro Challenge. My name is Nick Stevens, joined by my phenomenal co-host,
Lance London.
And we are very excited to have you guys. So today is going to be our, like I said, our Female Raw Challenge, including one of our adaptive athletes in the para bench later on this afternoon. So let's take a look at some of our lifters in the warm-up room. We've got a very, very packed house behind the warm-up room here today. The Arnold Sports Festival is just opening up, so we're going to see a lot of folks getting to be exposed to some top-tier powerlifting on the day. And as we go through our competition, we're just going to be going through some of the rules, regulations, pointing out some things that you guys might need to know. And if you guys have any questions in the YouTube chat, go ahead and follow along, ask us any questions. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Both Lance and I are coaches and referees, so we like to think we know what we're doing. So if you guys have anything, feel free to holler them at us. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So, Lance, how has your experience been at the Arnold so far?
The Arnold's is awesome. It's such a great weekend. You walk in and you're just flooded with over 100,000 spectators across the entire convention center. Everyone obviously well into fitness, well into their own niche. Here we got our own niche in powerlifting. You know, we got the
10,000 square foot niche.
we got the bleachers going up to the back of the convention center. These lifters look up and they're looking at thousands of spectators. The adrenaline you get is just off the charts.
That's right. We're going to continue that energy throughout the day here. So with this Female Raw Challenge, compared to yesterday where we primarily had our bench press action, today is going to be full power. So our ladies are going to start off with the squat, go into the bench press, and go into the deadlift. So Lance, can you tell us a little bit about what the flow of the squat's going to look like for our spectators?
So for now, we're going to start off with Flight A on Platform 1 and Platform 2, you see them flanking each other here. The order of competition is going to go from lightest weight attempted to heaviest weight attempted. Everybody's going to do their first attempt of squat, and then we're going to circle back to the top of the flight, once again ordering from lightest weight attempted to heaviest weight attempted. Once we get to that, again, following the same format for third attempts, and then we'll take a 10-minute break and do the same exact format for bench.
Absolutely right. Let's take a peek at the action here on the platform here. Coming up to Platform 1, Jessica Bailey-Taylor's taking 127.5 for her opening squat attempt, 281 pounds. Tiffany Ong on Platform 2 taking 142.5 kilos, that's 314 pounds. And we're looking at a lot of these openers, folks. You're going to see these first attempts, even some of these second attempts, move super quick. And from a competitor perspective and from a handling perspective as a coach, you kind of want that to happen. Why is that?
Absolutely. So you need to register an attempt on each of these lifts for you to register a total. So if you go 0 for 3 on squats, 0 for 3 on bench, or 0 for 3 on deadlift, you automatically get disqualified from the meet. You may continue, but your total will count as 0. And once you put the attempt in, you cannot go lower. So if you fail that first attempt on strength, you can't lower it back down. You either have to reattempt that same weight or go up. So if you pick something that's a little bit too tough for you, you may be taking yourself out of the meet. We've seen it happen before. Usually you see it at the local meet level. These lifters are a little bit more experienced. I mean, it doesn't make you immune to that, but
absolutely,
usually see it more at the local meet level than the national level.
And it's important that you bring that up. No one is immune to that. We even saw a couple lifters yesterday in our Masters session. Unfortunately, we had 1 or 2 bomb outs. Even in our bench session, we had 1 or 2 bomb outs. And so even at this high a level, like you were just saying, no one is immune. And so when you're at this high level, it just places even more importance on being able to execute, being able to put your performance into perspective in terms of the entire meet. You don't want to open too heavy and gas yourself out for squat. You also don't want to put all of your eggs in the squat basket and then have no energy going through bench and
That's
deads.
absolutely right. And you know, the biggest example we've seen of this, one of the greatest lifters ever in the sport of powerlifting, Taylor Atwood, I think it was back in 2018, bombed out at the Arnold's, actually, at the I think it was the Pro Series final or whatever it was at the time.
I think it was the Pro-Am, yes.
Pro-Am, yes. That was before the Pro Series. Bombed out at the Arnold's. The greatest lifter of all time, many would say, bombing out. So like you said, not immune to it at this level.
That's right. We're seeing some clean openers, though, across the board here. So on platform 1, Mara Rosenfeld's going to be taking 135 kilos, 297 pounds. And folks, if you're watching the stream here, you'll see Mara on platform 1. She's got the arms of the rack kind of posted in. But then if you look on platform 2, Kaylee Galsick, she's got the uprights kind of normally. And that is for lifter preference. A lot of times a lifter feels a little bit more stable just having those uprights turned in. A lot of times if a lifter, especially our larger lifters, we'll see later on today, if they have a much wider grip and they take up a lot more real estate on the bar and they need their hands outside of those posts, you're going to find a lot of things on the platform today are going to be based upon lifter preference. Their grip widths, their stances, the position of the uprights, their attempts. Everything is all about the lifter. You can tell that through all the things that all of our lifters are going to do today, especially, or including our spotters and loaders. Everything is about the lifter.
Right, different proportions call for different styles. As we see Kate Cohen coming up on platform 1, one of the greatest lifters in this sport right now, coming off a national championship last year. Earlier in the year, competed at the Jersey Invitational and just blew the competition out of the water. Definitely the heavy favorite for the day.
That's right. Kate Cohen, A7 sponsored athlete. Shout out to our presenting sponsor, A7, for not only presenting our meet today, but providing a lot of the meet kits for a lot of our lifters today. Remember last year she got to unveil one of the new A7. It was the purple and white kit. So smooth. And that was a good lift for Kate, taking up to 2.5 kilos to 308 pounds. Megan Schroeder's going to take that. And then on platform 2, Lauren Clapp, she's going to be taking 155 kilos, 341. Clean squat from Megan Schroeder there. I respect the sunglasses.
So on these two platforms, we have it broken up into our lighter weight lifters for the session. So on platform 1, we have everybody below 60 kilos in body weight. And on platform 2, everybody below between 60 and 70 kilos. This makes it simpler for our spotters and loaders, loading similar weights.
Catherine Newman, 140 kilos. Oh, we see a little bit of a miss there, a little bit of exasperation. So that's going to be a no lift for Catherine on platform 1. And to some extent, you know, it could be a misgroove, could be just a change in the mindset and just how we approach the bar. But God forbid it's an issue with strength, that does put her in a tough position going into her second attempt.
Right, you never want to miss that opener. And it's really a challenge to the headspace of a lifter to miss your opener and come back on your second and hit it.
Dominique Guzman, 142.5, 3 white lights. That's a good lift there. Judith Arias on platform 1, taking 162.5, 358 pounds, excuse me. Sarah Kamis on platform 1, also taking 142.5, 314 pounds. Clean squat over there on platform 2. Quick point to our spotters and loaders as well. These folks worked all day yesterday for both of our sessions and are going to be working all day today, the same 20 guys. So we're very grateful for the A7 platform crew.
Definitely one of the most underrated jobs in the sport, one of the more thankless jobs in the sport, because these guys are here all day loading thousands and thousands and thousands of volume of pounds.
Volunteering. That's a very important note. These guys are donating their time to be sure that our lifters are kept safe on the platform. Caitlin Slovic, platform 1, 147.5. Over on platform 2, Heather Grinkley, 172.5 kilos, 369 pounds. Sorry, 167.5 kilos.
Get these two squatting
Beautiful.
at the same time. Both look great.
And we're calling out these weights as if they're something extremely routine. No, these ladies are putting up some weight. We're already on platform 2, we're already inching into the low 400 mark. Sarah Milicic is going to be taking 402 pounds, going to be taking us right into that realm.
And we're still on openers here, too. We're at 400 pounds on the openers, and these are our lighter weight lifters. Sarah weighed in at 70 kilos this morning, 70.2 kilos.
That's how much my carry-on weighs. My goodness. Over on platform 1, Rose Wong Stigora. She's going to be opening with 330 pounds. Rose, a collegiate standout in her own right. Looking to take on the national stage here at the Arnold. Sarah Milicic, very slow, very controlled descent going into the squat. Why do you think a lifter might have that varying descent? I've seen some lifters completely dive bomb their squat and be fine.
Right, so this goes back to what we say as coaches all the time. It's like you want to drop down as quickly as possible to utilize that stretch reflex, but you don't want that to get you out of position. So if a lifter feels like that's going to get them out of position, they might slow it down a little bit. You can sacrifice that stretch reflex just so you can maintain your position, because we've seen it on the opener earlier with, I believe it was Catherine. She got out of position, she dropped immediately. That's what happens. You got to make sure you maintain your composure, maintain your position throughout the entire movement. So we see Carissa grind through a squat there on platform 1.
That's right. And one thing I like to tell my lifters, kind of along the same lines, especially with squat, it's a balancing act, right? You've got 200, 300, 400, 500 pounds on your back, and you've got to do a whole movement with it on your back. It's almost more of a balancing act,
right,
more so than it is a strength act. And so being able to maintain your control and just maintain your center of gravity with the bar on your back, I mean, Stephanie Scoville, beautiful squat. I mean, case in point, just enough control, just enough speed, brought it down as fast as she could control it.
And we're going to head on to second attempts on platform 1. Platform 2, we're closing out.
Bars loaded for Madison Lewis, 429 pounds. Over on platform 1, Tiffany Long, 137.5 kilos. Madison Lewis, very easy opener there.
Madison Lewis, definitely one of the top competitors here. She comes into the meet with a 528 qualifying dots. Usually that 500 mark is where we start considering you one of the elite lifters. Now, this entire meet is going to be scored solely off of dots points. So what dots points is, it takes your body weight, your gender, and your total, and it gives you a score. So this way, all these lifters, no matter what weight class they are, can compare their total against each other. It's the best pound-for-pound formula we have, so this is all about the best pound-for-pound lifter throughout the day. So you're going to see some 60-kilo lifters competing against 100-kilo lifters, and this way we can tell who is the best of the best that we have to offer here at USA Powerlifting.
And as we get through the rhythm of this meet, obviously it's very early to tell. We're still on second attempt squats for the first flight. It is going to be very, very early to tell. So as we see these bench attempts start rolling in, as we see these deadlift attempts start rolling in, we will be giving you our best update on the placings and how those dots points are going to be factoring into our placings for our lifters. Sophia Schost, 3 white lights, going up 7.5 kilos, and that's going to be a good lift for her. Sophia Schost competed at last year's Open Raw Nationals. Stacy can go. Little bit of a hitch on 319, hit a bit of a stopping point, but it looks like 3 white lights across the board there.
Right, you can come to a stopping point. You just can't dip back down. If there's going to be an up and down movement, that's going to get you a red light, a blue card.
Phenomenal segue. I love that. Let's chat a little bit about the cards. We'll obviously go into these as we see them come up. Obviously, great lifters, great lifts that we're seeing thus far, so not very many technical issues. But going into the squat, we're both referees, so we've seen it from all angles. What do you think are what's the biggest thing that we're looking for with squat? What's the one thing we're going to call our lifters
number
on the
one
most?
is always going to be depth.
That's right.
We need to get the squat depth where your hip crease is below the top of the knee joint. And we have 3 referees, 1 in the center and 2 flanking on the sides, looking at the depth. The center referee usually doesn't have the best view, so a lot of times if you see 2 red lights from the side referees, that's usually your first indicator that it was a depth issue. Now, underneath your lights, you're going to have different cards, different color indicators. We're going to have a red card. That's going to usually tell you depth. We're going to have a blue card. That'll tell you a soft knee, something that's not totally locked out, or an up and down movement. The yellow card is basically anything else. You miss a command. You miss your footsteps before the command. Anything else that's not the depth, the up and down, or the soft knee.
Kate Cohen on 1, Whitney on 2. Both look very solid. That's going to be, that's actually going to be a no lift for Kate Cohen on platform 2, and that's going to be depth on either side. So just like you were saying, we got a red light with a red card on either side there for Kate. Now, Kate's a national champion.
Right.
Multiple-time national champion. She's missed lifts before. It happens. It's part of being an elite competitor. What would you do in this situation? She went up 7.5 kilos from 137 to 145, got a depth call. Do you repeat that? Do you go up 2.5? What are your thoughts there?
A lot of times it depends on the lifter. 7.5 kilos is very aggressive, especially at a low body weight like her. You know, you're talking a huge percentage of that squat. My usual go-to, especially if it's an opener, is to repeat it just so you get it on the board. A lot of times these meets are about building that total, and it's going to be it becomes about who's going to mess up the least, really.
Absolutely.
So if you need those extra 7.5 kilos to stay in it, by all means, but I'm always about building the total, repeat the lift, unless you want to bump it up 2.5 kilos to just keep climbing, because like I said, a lot of times it's about who is going to mess up the least, who can be the perfect lifter on the day. It's not always about who's the strongest lifter, but who's the best power lifter, who's going to execute, who's going to follow commands, who's going to hit depth.
That's right. Dominique Guzman, very clean squat, 330 pounds, 3 white lights. Bars loaded for Marissa Widener on platform 2. If I'm not mistaken, Marissa competed yesterday.
It takes such a special lifter to be able to do 2 meets in a row, regardless of whether it's bench only or full power. We've seen it plenty of times in the past with a lot of equipped lifters doing it. They do equipped one day, they do raw the next day. We've seen that with Austin Perkins in his early career.
We saw that yesterday as well with the Richardson family. Both Natalie and her mom, Elizabeth, competed in the equipped bench and the raw bench. Both won.
Just complete domination of the sport.
Sarah Kamas, bars loaded for her on platform 1. That's 330 pounds. Lauren Claps got 363 loaded. All right, bars loaded here. Sarah getting under that bar, taking her time, getting as packed underneath the bar as she can.
So we spoke about commands earlier. The commands in the squat, you're going to walk it out on your own. You don't have to wait for a command for that. You're going to stand, knees locked, hips straight, under the bar, and you're going to wait for the squat command. Once you get the squat command, that's permission to squat. That's not telling you to squat. So you're going to see the timer in the background if you look over at platform 1 over towards the right side. That starts once they call bars loaded. You have until you get the squat command for that time. Once you get that squat command, that timer means nothing. You're good to go. You're going to then complete your squat, and you'll get the rack command. Squat, rack.
And if we ever see a lifter miss any of those commands, like you were saying earlier, that goes into that's lumped into the yellow lights.
Right.
So yellow light is kind of that catch-all, like we were saying. So missed lifts, change in position during the movement of the squat, anything like that. Caitlin Slovic getting hyped up under 341. Lauren O'Toole taking 374 over on platform 2. Very strong squat.
Caitlin Slovic looked like she has another 7.5 kilos in there. She gets 3 white lights. Lauren O'Toole taking a 10-kilo jump from her opener.
These are some strong second attempts. And from a coaching voice cracked a little bit there. From a coaching perspective, those second attempts are almost more crucial to watch than the openers. You know, the openers obviously set the tone for the attempt, set the tone for the performance. But that second attempt determines how far you can go after that.
Right, like we spoke about, the openers are usually an easy attempt. It's something that we know the lifter can get. My usual rule of thumb is this is something they should be able to hit on their worst day in the gym, maybe for a double. This way we get it on the board. From there, you make the little bit more of an aggressive jump, and then the second attempt tells us, what can we do on our third? Where's our top end at? As a coach, you're mostly locked in on that second attempt because that tells us what we can take for the day.
That's right. If the second attempt moves well, plan A. If the second attempt doesn't move at all, plan C. And that goes into the elite level of coaching and handling that we're seeing from our lifters here today. I mean, I'm looking at the board, not that many red lights. We've seen a couple missed openers, a couple missed second attempts, but across the board, this is excellent play calling from our lifters and their coaches.
Carissa on platform 1 looking to enter in the 300-pound club. 137.5, that's 303.
Heather Grinkley, clean squat on platform 2. Carissa stands up. Had a bit of a tough go there. What do the judges say? And it's a good lift.
And what a grind. That's what a third attempt should look like. Very hard, max amount of effort. That's what we want to get on the board. What can we maximize in that squat?
Continuing with our third attempts here on platform 1, Jessica Bailey Tyler, 142.5, 314 pounds. Judith Arias.
This would be a 2.5 kilo PR for Jessica Bailey Tyler. Best squat in a meet is 140 kilos. Looking to chip that here. She's currently self-coached. Looks like she's doing a good job hitting PRs at the Arnolds.
Very strong and controlled descent here. Breaks past that sticking point. We see a little bit of a celebration. And that's going to be 3 white lights. We are very happy with that attempt. Taking it on to Miss Tiffany Lung, 142.5. That's 314 pounds. And Sarah Milicic is going to round out our, we've got 2 or 3 more second attempts on platform 2. But Sarah Milicic is going to be taking 192.5, 424 pounds, folks. We are pushing some weight.
Tiffany Lung on platform 1. So we mentioned here at the Arnolds, we have a bunch of events throughout the weekend. On Thursday, Tiffany Lung competed in the weightlifting competition here. So she's doing weightlifting and powerlifting. So weightlifting, snatches, cleans, yep.
That's going to be a no lift there for Tiffany. And like you were just saying, she's doing a lot this weekend. So the fact that she's even here is a feat in and of itself. Just probably had to spend a little bit too much gas on the third, but that's okay. We've still got 6 more lifts to go. Platform 1, Sophia Schos, 314 pounds. Bars loaded for Stephanie Scoville on 2. Stephanie Scoville's got 424 pounds loaded under that bar. Sophia Schos gets the start command. Oh, and what a grind it is, but she stands it up. What are the judges going to give her?
3 white lights.
And here's Kate Cohen again. Like you said, smart, safe decision here, going to retake 145. That's 319 pounds.
Right, and in a meet that is so close between our top competitors, you know, Kate Cohen coming in with a 5:48 dot score as her qualifying dots. In our following flight, in Flight B on Platform 2, we have Margaret Nissace with a 5:51 qualifying dot score. You know, 3 dots points is not a lot separating these two. You need to hit your lifts.
I was just about to say 3 dots points. It is the difference between missing a lift and making a lift. So you're absolutely right there.
Kate Cohen, a veteran in this sport. She's been doing it for 14 years, has the world record deadlift and total for her weight class. And the depth looks good from this angle. Let's see what the judges say.
And that's going to be 2-1. Again, no depth call there from the side judges, like you were saying. And better the smart decision to stick with the weight that she had rather than go up and miss in general and not having known.
Right.
So Kate Cohen still on the board here with that 137.5. She is still forecasted first at the moment, but we've still got a whole meet to go, so stay tuned. Mara Rosenfeld, 147.5 kilos, going up 2.5 kilos from her first to second. Very safe jump here. If we miss it, it's only losing 2.5 on the spot. If we make it, we add 2.5 onto the total. Stacy taking the same exact weight on Platform 2. That's 325 pounds.
Nice looking squat from Mara Rosenfeld. She gets it 2-1. See if Stacy No can follow up.
And she does. That almost looked like a opener / second attempt. Very smooth, a lot left in the tank there.
Yeah, that looks like an easy second for her. She probably had another 5 kilos left in there.
And that's a good point, too. When you go into a meet and you kind of play the squat a little bit lighter, you know, you don't, I say a little bit lighter relatively. It's going to be a heavy squat. But you played a little bit lighter, you leave a little bit more in the tank. What does that give you throughout the rest of the meet?
Well, you have to remember you still have to bench and deadlift coming up. And especially with the deadlift, if you have a strong deadlifter, you need to save your legs for a big pull later. So shaving off 2.5 kilos to 5 kilos on your squat might allow you to deadlift 10 more kilos. As we see Catherine Newman, something did not go right there. And we saw an issue on her opener where she dropped down pretty quick. And usually you don't see lifters of this caliber bailing on a bar. So you have to think something wasn't right throughout this entire lift. Maybe she's feeling some injuries. Usually when you see that bail, it means they felt something where they need to get the bar off their back right away.
Correct.
Because they're usually encouraged not to do that.
And not only that, too, whenever you descend that quickly, like we were saying, you want to bring it down as fast as you can control it. When you bring it down that fast, there's a lot less capacity for you to be able to control it, and you lean a lot more to your strength and your ability to be able to fight out of that position. And it makes the squat more variable. And when you have that variability, you don't have that certainty, it does make the lift, I like to call, a little more volatile. And so you don't know what could happen, but good grab there by our spotters and loaders.
I was going to say, with that being said, I mean, to catch 315 in a free fall.
In a searcher position.
You know, we spoke about that job being like one of the more thankless jobs, and these guys don't get the credit for like the strength and talent that they have and the wherewithal to see that the bar is going to fall and, you know, really catch it from crushing her.
Absolutely. For the folks at home, if you guys are just getting into powerlifting, new to it, want to get into it, highly recommend spotting and loading a meet. It is the easiest way to, one, get immersed into the culture, know the flow of the meet, know how to count weights. And it's just fun. You get to yell at the lifters every single time. You're their personal support team because they're not just keeping you safe. Good lift there from Megan Schroeder on one. But you're not just keeping them safe. You're supporting them. You're making sure that they're getting their lifts.
It's one of the only jobs you can work on meet day where you can actually show your emotion
and have
cheer
fun
for the lifter. Because as a referee, I'm not going to sit there in the side referee chair and scream for you to get it up. It just gives off the wrong impression. But as a spotter and loader, you're basically like a cheerleader on the day too. You know a good spotter and loader because at the end of the week they'll lose their voice.
Here's Megan Schroeder, and I apologize, that was Dominique Guzman with the good attempt. Megan Schroeder, unfortunately, just a little bit too heavy on the day for 347. She'll still come away with 150 kilos on the day, so solid 330-pound squat.
Tiffany Young making very consistent jumps, 10 kilos and then another 10 kilos.
And now here's an interesting move here. So Rose did miss that second attempt. She went up 7.5 kilos to 157. Missed it. I believe that was on depth. I unfortunately missed it, so we'll see how this goes. But she did go up 2.5 kilos to 160. That's going to put her at 352 pounds.
Tiffany Young on platform 2, matching her meet PR of 162.5, 358 pounds. The lift is good for Tiffany.
Okay, here's Rose.
Oh, just
a little bit too much. She'll still come away with the 330 squat there. And just like you were saying, it does come down to how well you're able to make your lifts, because as we're seeing the development of the meet, these placings are starting to shake up just a little bit. And it all comes down to the execution. How well are these lifters able to hit what's on the bar? Marissa Widener, 162.5. Clean grind out of the hole.
And a lot of times with a meet like this, where there's so many competitors and so many people that you're competing against, it's not just your weight class, it's everybody. Seeing someone else's performance might change your plan for meet day. For example, we spoke about Kate Cohen, goes 1 for 3 on squats, and then we have Margaret later in the flight B. This might change how she approaches her squats. She does not have to get aggressive. When she comes up, you might see, 5, 7.5 kilo jumps for an 82.5 kilo lifter. She just needs to execute and build that total, because now Kate Cohen is playing catch up for her.
Absolutely. And like you just said, we still have Margaret Nasace to come in the second flight, but with Kate Cohen having only made that first, that does hit her forecasted dots pretty heavily, and that puts Margaret within striking range. Again, this is just on forecasted on openers, so this will change throughout the meet. But Margaret Nasace is watching. She has her work cut out for her. So right now, Kate Cohen's the girl to beat. Margaret Nasace only a few points behind, so we'll see how this develops throughout the meet. And we are already on to our second flight of lifters on platform 1. Audrey Kars is going to be our lifter here, going to be starting off with 77.5 kilos, 170 pounds. She's our adaptive athlete. And a lot of lifters, whenever they're not able to compete within the normal confines of the rules or the regulations, divisions, whether that be any sort of physical difference or anything like that, or maybe they're just trying to compete for a different class, we do have our adaptive athletes here, so we do have a place for our lifters to compete. But unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift on the opener. It did look a little bit high on depth there. All 3 of our judges saw that, so we'll see how she moves into the second attempt there.
Right, easy looking attempt. I think the smart call is to just reattempt it and sink it deep. A lot of times it gets risky going a little bit deeper than you're used to in training, because you're so used to cutting it to the same depth, and now you're stretching the muscle past the point of where it's used to. You don't want to make too big of a jump, and now you're stretching, now you're risking injury. Reload it, get it deeper. It's an easy attempt. You know you can get it on the board. You don't have to risk anything, and now you can stay in the meet.
That's right. You also notice Audrey had no wrist wraps, no knee sleeves either, so they're doing this truly raw as possible, so you got to give a hat off to that. Jessica DiGiovanni, easy opener there at 341. Heather Grinkley's got her third attempt loaded. She wants a 402 squat. She wants to crack into the 400-pound realm on her third attempt. Second attempt looked a little tough. And so going up 7.5 kilos is a bit of a gamble. We'll see how this moves.
Once you get to that point of 180 kilos versus 182.5, that extra 2.5 kilos ends up being very tempting, because you do want to get in that 400-pound range as she tries to fight through it. And, temptation is there. You always want to enter that 400-pound club, but fortunately just a little bit too much.
Judith Aria is going to come behind and do 192.5, 424 pounds. And we're going to keep on rolling. Kira Thompson is going to be taking 165 for her opening squat attempt.
So going back to our previous squat attempt, it's always attempting to stay by the script of, I want to squat 400 pounds today, but you got to make the smart calls coming off of that second. If you see that second doesn't move as well, you got to play the game, because sometimes we're competing for something bigger than just the numbers. We're competing for the actual competition against our other lifters, and a missed third squat attempt can take you out of the meet.
Absolutely. Kira Thompson, opening squat attempt, 363 pounds, Pro Series Finals winner in 2020, or sorry, 4th place finisher in 2024. No stranger to the national stage.
Judith Arias taking a 15-kilo jump. 424 on the bar for her third attempt.
And now she did take a 15-kilo jump from first to second, but doing it from second to third is a little bit more bold. And it looked like she was, one thing our body wants to do when the weight's a little bit too heavy and we want to be sure we get out of the hole, we try to squat early. And what that means is we try to squat and we try to shoot the bar up before we give our body a chance to use that stretch reflex. Most often, we cut depth. It doesn't feel right. It feels a little bit heavier, and that might have been what we saw there for Miss Arias. But she comes away with 177.5, so a very solid squat nonetheless.
We might be seeing an American record come up. We have 202 loaded up from Stephanie Scoville coming up next. If that's truly an American record and not a typo, that's going to be some big weight coming in. Because remember, you can only take attempts that are multiples of 2.5 kilos. So you can load 202.5, but you can't load 202. So if that's a true attempt, that would be an American record coming up from Stephanie Scoville. Sarah Michelich looking with 435 for her third attempt in the all-white A7s.
You got to respect it. Rachel Karam on 1, 396 pounds out of New York.
Sarah makes good work of that third attempt. 3 white lights.
All right, folks. Take a look over on platform 2. You are correct, Lance. We've got a record, but not just an American record. We've got a world record attempt loaded up for Stephanie Scoville, 202 kilos.
This is what every lifter dreams of. You get into the sport, one of the first things that you're looking up is your state records. Then you start looking up your American records, and then you start looking up the world records, and you shoot for them. And every single day in training, you're thinking of it. Stephanie Scoville, 202 kilos, 445 pounds.
If she hits this, this will not only be a world record, but this would be a massive PR on the meet for her. Prior best lift on squat was 195. This is going to be huge. Here we go, Stephanie.
9.5 kilo jump from her second attempt for the world record. And she makes incredible work.
That's a world record squat right there. 2-1. That is a good lift. Stephanie Scoville, your new world champion in the squat. Very fantastic work. 445 pounds. Locked down.
Ourselves. Madison Lewis, 205 kilos, same exact weight class, same exact division. Going to attempt to chip the world record that was just set by Stephanie Scoville.
This is what the competition is all about, ladies and gents. Madison Lewis, 451 pounds. And now we are getting a little bit of a delay on platform 2, and so what happens whenever we get world record attempts, we have to be sure we get world record officiating. And so all of our referees on the platform are national level referees at minimum, but there are category 2 national level, international level referees that will be able to sit on the platform and watch this happen. Here's Madison Lewis, 451 pounds.
We see Stephanie Scoville in the back room watching as she sees her world record attempt be chipped by Madison Lewis.
And this is the competition that we want, folks. And you're seeing that world record attempt banner go across the screen. We've got one on platform 1, but here's Madison with another 10 kilos in the tank. 205
Incredible.
kilos, 3 white lights. What a run.
What a show we're being treated to. 2 world records back-to-back, Platform 1, a world record as well.
Wow, Stephanie Scoville, that knocks her into the top 10 very easily, and that's just on squat with a world record attempt here.
We said it was going to be a tight competition. Who can hit lifts? Not just come out and be the strongest lifter, but who can be the best power lifter?
What an end of the first flights that was. Now we've got our opening attempts for both platforms running here. Kayla Hardwick, easy opener there, 190 kilos. Estella Inman, another easy opener there at 347 pounds. And pardon, we're already up to our second attempts on platform 1 here. Audrey's going to retake 170. Very smart choice here.
So remember, Audrey missing that opener on depth. It looked very easy. Making the smart choice, reloading it. Like we said, just got to get deeper, and it should not be a problem. That opening attempt flew.
Grace McKenna, bars loaded for her on platform 2, 369 pounds. So far, all of our lifters in this session have posted a total. So everyone has at least one squat locked in. Here's Audrey. Oh, that looks significantly deeper. Just as easy as well.
Making those adjustments on meet day have to be some of the hardest things to do. You train to a certain standard your entire prep, and now all of a sudden on the heaviest day of the last couple months, you have to make changes to your technique. It's never easy.
To an extent, that is what separates the good from the better to the best. How well you're able to adapt on the day. How much of an athlete are you? All comes down to your adaptability and your flexibility on the day. Jessica DiGiovanni, 165, 363 pounds. We're on to our second attempts on platform 1. Erica's going to take her opening attempt on platform 2. Easy opening attempt there. Almost a textbook squat for Erica.
Erica, lifter out of PA, she had an incredible attempt, deadlift attempt back in PA States. She's one of those big deadlifters that we're going to see show up late in the meet, maybe make some changes.
I love a good deadlift advantage. We'll chat a little bit more about that as we get to it. That's one of my favorite parts here. Jessica Alejandro is going to take her second attempt, going up 7.5 kilos. Very standard jump for these folks. 7.5 kilos for the folks at home. It's about 15 pounds, give or take. Maya Morgan opening with 374 pounds. A very wide stance, very noticeably wide stance there. But that's going to be a no lift. Can you talk a little bit about why that might be?
That sometimes comes with that wider stance. It's really hard to use that knee flexion to get to the bottom of your squat. It really stretches you out a bit, and unfortunately cannot get that hip crease below the top of the knee joint.
Alyssa on platform 2, 385 pounds. Casey Cicero on platform 2, taking the same exact weight.
Bit of aggressive walkout for Casey, but she finds her point where she can be stable at and smokes the opener. 385 pounds. The lift is good.
Solid attempts from both of our ladies going on to platform 1. Kira Thompson's going to take 177.5. 391 pounds. Chloe Beasley's going to go up 2.5 kilos more than that. 396 pounds. And both of our platforms are competing against each other. So that does play a little bit of a factor in how our lifters and how our coaches are calling attempts as well. They're not only watching the lifters on their own platform, but they've also got to peek at the LiftingCast on the other platform and make those calculations there.
It's truly a test of who is the best coach as well, because judging totals is somewhat easy, especially after a while once you have a couple of meets under your belt as a coach. But judging the dots is so tough because it is such a complicated formula. It's not something that you can just do offhand. You have to punch it into a calculator. You're looking at what can my lifter do, what can this lifter do. You're looking at 10 different lifters punching into a calculator every 5 seconds. It's really, truly a test.
You see the coaches hunched over the table, writing their notes.
And who is going to make the best attempt call? Who's going to make the most accurate attempt call? And we've seen it before. We've seen it where coaches make mistakes, and unfortunately the lifter has to eat that.
Rachel Karam taking her opener one more time, 180 kilos, 396. Let's see if she's able to find her way here.
We see a great opening attempt from Thuy Trang Nguyen.
There we go, looked easy enough for Rachel. Gets on the board there for depth, 3 white lights.
As we turn our attention to platform 2 with Margaret Nassais, the heaviest dot score we have seen coming into it. And it was going to be between her and Kate Cohen. Kate Cohen comes in flight A, platform 1. She misses her second and third attempt. This leaves the door open for Margaret. What Margaret has to do here is she just has to execute. That's all she has to do.
That's right. Margaret Nassais, a very, very strong squatter.
Very deep squat.
3 white lights. Competed at the national level many, many years, at least in the past 2 or 3 years. She's always had a very strong squat, and that does allow her to set the tone going through the rest of the meet. So we'll see how this plays out. Brianna on platform 1. She finds her way out of the bottom, but I wonder if you saw what I saw, Lance.
Yeah, that might be in a little bit of an up and down.
Okay.
It's red for depth, but no up and down. Lift is good.
And that's why we're behind the camera.
And we did say the front referee usually has the worst view of all of this. Usually side referees have the best view at depth. As we see Estella Inman absolutely smoke her second attempt. And Estella's actually a Division I track and field thrower. She does the hammer throw.
Oh, wow.
And this is more of like a side hustle for her, and she's still killing it every day. Very, very good deadlifter. Her best deadlift in a meet, 225 kilos.
Well, hopefully she's not missing a meet by doing this one.
Probably not. As we see Angel Huang on platform 1. Angel, this is only under her 3rd year competing. She started competing in April of 2023. A world record attempt on her opener, a world record attempt on her second attempt. 197.5 kilos, 435 pounds for Angel Huang, who just competed in her first national meet back in June. Oh my.
Negligibly fast, I believe.
That could have been an opener.
That could have absolutely been an opener. Angel's best posted squat is 424. Not anymore. Could not, I mean, my goodness. She had a 424 squat at the Jersey Invitational.
So those records
and just came to a world record today.
Those records are junior records. She might be open for the open record coming up. Now, earlier we spoke about how you can add the chip to open records. You cannot do that for junior records in this meet.
That's absolutely
so
right.
That's
Good
why
catch.
you're seeing the 197.5 instead of a 198. She cannot chip a junior record because that gives her an advantage later on. When you have that chip, it gives you the advantage to the total. So this keeps it even across all lifters. She's coming into an open meet. She has to compete as an open lifter. She can set junior records. She just can't use the chip.
Grace McKenna, easy second attempt there. Kayla Hardwick, same thing. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift. We get a depth call from both of our judges as well as a blue card from our front judge. Smart move there, very likely to retake that just to get her on the board with a bit of a stronger squat than that opener. And we're all the way back up to third attempt, so we are cruising and bruising. Platform 1, Audrey's going to go up 5 kilos to 82.5 kilos, 181 pounds. Erica, again, very textbook squat here, 177.5. I wonder if that was a tad high.
Lift is good for Erica.
Yep, lift is good. One of the judges thought so. She got one red light from the side. Again, it's all about perspective, and we're just behind the camera. We're seeing the front view. We're not even getting the good head referee view.
Correct.
So they've got the best view possible.
Audrey, 82.5 kilos, 181. Misstepped on her opener and grinds this one out.
That looked okay to me. Let's see what the refs say. Oh, close. Close. Unfortunately, she does not get that last attempt, but they're on the board. 77.5 kilos, they're on the board. We're still in the meet.
Right.
We got bench and deadlift to go.
That second attempt was very important. It was 100% the correct call, the safe call, to just reload it and just get something on the board there.
Up next, Jessica DiGiovanni, 172.5 kilos, 380 pounds. Bars loaded for Chloe Beasley on 2, 418 pounds.
And Chloe Beasley is such a powerful squatter, and you'll see that on her way down and her way up. It's so fast. And that sometimes causes trouble for the coaches when it comes to attempt calls. Because you see a squat that's fast. Just because it's fast doesn't mean it was easy.
Absolutely. At 2.5 kilos can be the difference between it not being fast at all.
Right. Chloe Beasley grew up a soccer player. She's got those powerful legs. You see such a powerful squat.
My goodness. Yeah, that's a good lift as expected. Chloe Beasley, I imagine she has another 10 kilos in there, so we'll see likely 200. Anywhere between 197 to 202, I think, is a very solid third attempt for her.
Right, and like we spoke about that, this is where it comes with the coach knowing the lifter as well. How did that attempt look? We know it was fast. Was it easy? Was it hard? She's a powerful squatter. That can sometimes be deceiving.
Third attempt here for Jessica Alejandro. Oh, she finds her way out of the bottom. Massive sticking point there. I didn't see the bar go up and down, and neither did the judges. That was as close of a call as you can get. Shout out to her handler. Shout out to whoever is calling her plays. That was an exceptional squat. Great job there, Jessica. Alyssa Cias coming up right behind, going up 2.5 kilos, 391 pounds. And we've got Margaret Nasays on platform 2, 496 pounds. We are very likely to see a 500-pound squat from her later on today.
And we already spoke about the importance of her just hitting lifts today.
Alyssa, what a grind. Oh, my goodness. I've never seen the bar just stop like that. Even after a second or so, you see the bar descend. She was not giving up.
And good
all
for
the
her
flowers.
to fight through that. And Margaret gets her attempt on the board, 225 kilos. And a very tough situation for Maya Morgan here, missing her first 2 attempts. She needs this to stay in the meet. We spoke about it. You need to put an attempt on the board for each lift. If you go 0 for 3, you're disqualified. They call it bombing out. Her total will go as 0. This is going to be the most important lift she has all day. Can she execute on 170 kilos, 374 pounds? This is all or nothing right here.
Kira Thompson, strong out of the squat. Oh. And these sticking points are going to change for each of our lifters. I mean, they change all the time. You see lifters miss at the very bottom. Some lifters miss at the very top. It's all a matter of where the lifter is strongest, and that's what you got to train for.
Maya Morgan missed her opener on depth. 3 red lights. She missed her second attempt on depth. 2 red lights. The front judge gave her the white on her second attempt. Just needs to sink this down. Spoke about that wide stance being tough. Looks good from a strength perspective.
Let's see what the judges say. That's a good lift. Maya Morgan is on the board. She saves herself from disqualification. And here's Rachel Karam, having missed that opener, adapted very well, retook that for the second, going up 10 kilos for the third. This is 418 pounds. It looks strong, but it looked about the same depth as her opener. But that's why we're behind the camera. 2 white lights. Rachel Karam gets on the board with 190.
And just a little too heavy for Estella and Man.
And we are on to our third attempts for both platforms here. Just a reminder for the schedule, once we get done with our attempts here, we're going to be taking a 10-minute break on both platforms so that we can get set up for the bench press. So if there's a little bit of a delay, you will see that's why. Here's Brianna on platform 1, taking her third at 424 pounds. And Grace McKenna, 182.5 kilos, 402 pounds.
So see Brianna taking a 2.5 kilo jump, the smallest jump you could take. Sometimes that's the smart move, because even if you fail it, you don't lose out on any kilos. If you make a 5 kilo jump, you're potentially missing out on that extra 2.5 you could have done if you did the 2.5 kilo jump.
You're absolutely right, yeah. Strong squat there for Grace McKenna, taking 182.5. Well over her best squat. Her best squat is 385 pounds, so that puts her on at least another 10 kilos, so congratulations for her. Kayla Hardwick did get a call for both depth from the side judges and a blue card from the head referee, so smart move here, looking to retake 202.5 for this third. And here's Erica looking to finish out a clean run of squat. And very often when you're a deadlift heavy lifter, you have that deadlift advantage. Sometimes taking the clean run through squat, saving as much energy as you can make all the difference.
Right, a failed squat can take a lot out of you. See Erica grind through that one.
That's a good lift, 3 white lights. Here's Kayla Hardwick walking out 446 pounds. See if she's able to adapt and get on the board here. And it looks like we got a replace command here.
All right, so this is a great opportunity to explain what the replace command is. A lot of times, if the referees don't deem them to be in the right starting position, they'll get the replace command. So on either side of the lifter, we have 2 referees. They're going to stay with their hands up. Once they drop the hand, that's when they're good to lift. The chief referee will then give the start command, or the squat command in this case. And it looks like she's going to time out. So if the 2 side referees still have their hand up, the chief referee cannot give the squat command. They have to give them the replace command, explain to them why they are not in the correct starting position. Typically, it's a soft knee. That's what we see on the squats a lot. So she gets the replace command, but that clock still remains running. She runs out of time there. Unfortunately, time's out. No lift.
Here's Twee on platform 2, 440 pounds for her last attempt. Seeing a little bit of a delay on LiftingCast here. And I imagine this is because, so like you mentioned, Kayla Hardwick is going to time. Oh, she's going to come back. I've been proven wrong, Kayla Hardwick.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait on official word to see what happened over there.
Looks like she's going to get to retake this squat here.
Maybe an issue with the way the plates were loaded, if I had to make a guess, because usually you do not get that reattempt unless the referees deem that it was out of your control. What a fight.
That's a fight and a half. I wonder if it was deep enough. 2-1, it was.
A lot of times getting thrown off your mojo, getting into a lift, having to replace the bar. Walking out the bar takes a lot out of the lifter.
Oh, my goodness.
To stay in the right headspace and execute there, incredible. Angel Huang, opener, 187.5 kilos, junior world record. Second attempt, 197.5 kilos, junior world record. Third attempt, 205 kilos, 451 pounds for Angel Huang. Another junior record, looking to sweep it, and she's getting the crowd into it.
This is 20 kilos ahead of her best open posted squat.
And I got something for you. Angel, about 12 weeks out, sprained her ankle.
No, she
to go
didn't.
through training.
No, she didn't.
Block
You couldn't tell her
pulls
that.
and single leg squats, and 3 world records in a row. And we look on platform 2.
And we've got another
Margaret
one.
Misace.
This is going to be an open record for, if I'm not mistaken, the 82.5 kilo weight class. Margaret Nassay's 2 world records at the exact same time. Platforms 1 and 2, our last squats for the female Raw Challenge.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Margaret Nassay stands it up. Angel Wong stands it up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Arnold Sports Festival. World record squat attempts sunk. Good lift for both of our lifters. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got goosebumps. My hair is standing up. This is what it's all about. USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival. What
to close out both flights with a world record in the biggest sports festival in the world. You cannot ask for a better story to start off the day. We are hot here in Columbus, Ohio.
That's right. We're going to take about 10 minutes. We're going to cool off a little bit, let the energy simmer back down. I need a little bit of water. I'm a little bit riled up. We're going to take about 10 minutes, let our platform get set up, and we will see you in a few short minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Female Raw Challenge for USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival, coming to you live from the Greater Columbus Convention Center in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nick Stevens, joined by my exceptional co-host,
Lance London.
and we are here for the bench press. Took a little bit of a break, had to get our platform set up, get the bench press loaded.
And we said we were going to calm down in that 10-minute break, but I still haven't calmed
Oh,
down.
I'm a little amped.
From what we experienced. 2 world records being attempted at the same exact time. It doesn't get better than that. And if our bench and deadlift follows the way the squats have been, we're in for such a treat. This has been such good lifting. We expected it coming in. These are the top lifters that the world has to offer. Best pound-for-pound lifters in the entire world.
That's right, we're going to get our action started. Platform 1 is loaded up. Platform 2 is also loaded up. We've got the call from the head referees, and we are going to do our opening bench presses. Catherine Newman's going to start off with 143 pounds. Stacy on platform 2 is going to take 154 pounds for their opening bench attempts. And kind of the same mentality that we've seen for squat here. With these opening attempts, we want them to be easy. We want them to be something that these lifters know that they can hit even on a bad day, just to get them on the board. And from not only a coaching perspective, but from a referee perspective, looking at the bench press is a lot more complex. Can you talk a little bit about why?
Yeah, so there's so many different variables from a referee standpoint that you have to pay attention to. The butt must stay in contact with the pad from the start to the rack. They must get motionless on the chest with the bar. They must not heave with the bar. They can't go back down into the chest and then press it off. There's so many things to look for in the bench press that could be called for no lift. Feet must be flat on the floor. Their hands can't be wider than the rings on the bar. So many things for the referees to pay attention to, and then the coaches to fix. A lot of times with these lifters, you'll see them take a big arch, and that also affects the lift. It shortens the range of motion. And a lot of times with these lifters that are very flexible, you'll see a very powerful bench press. So you have to understand that, again, like we said with the squats, while it might move fast, it might not move easy. Making the correct call as a coach.
Absolutely. Platform 1, Kate Cohen's going to start out with 165. Kate Cohen, bit of a rocky start, only getting that opener squat here, looking to regain the momentum here through bench. She is still forecasted in first place, again, just off of openers here.
All right, Kate Cohen, I think the goal here has to be to go 3 for 3. Keep building that total, because while you had that rocky start, like you mentioned, she's not out of it by any means. And she's a veteran. Like we said, 14 years in the sport. She's been through it all. National championships. She's traveled around the world.
She's also a doctor.
Yeah, sports psychologist. So if there's anyone who's going to stay in the right mental space, it's going to be Kate Cohen.
2-1 there, good lift, and we see a red light with a yellow card underneath that. And kind of like we were talking about with squat, the yellow card is going to be our catch-all. So you've got maybe the butt came up a little bit, maybe the heel came up a little bit. The feet can slide, but they can't come up. Maybe she was a little bit fast on one of the commands. That's also a yellow card as well.
A lot of times when you see the yellow cards from the side referees, that typically tells you the butt is coming up. That's the most common thing that I think lifters get called for on the bench, because it does offer such an advantage, and it is so tempting to do, because if you're grinding through a lift, or even if you're popping up quick off the bench, it's almost an instinct for the butt to come up, because it almost heaves the weight up. That's why it's an illegal move.
3 white lights there for Sophia Shows. Lauren O'Toole's going to open with 176. Very easy. Close grip, not a high arch. And that's a long range of motion.
Benching on expert mode.
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, this all comes down to lifter preference. You know, maybe that lifter feels stronger with the hands a little bit closer. It's going to lend itself a little bit more to arm strength, a little bit more of that tricep strength. When you have a wider grip, you're going to need a lot more strength immediately off the chest to get to that lockout point.
Right, with the closer grip, you have to extend at the arm more a little bit, and the triceps, main extender of your arm. When you have to go to wider grip, you have to extend at the shoulder a little bit more, and that's going to be mainly on the chest. So She feels stronger with a closer grip, a little bit more tricep dominant. Usually that's not the case because you're shortening the range of motion by going wider, and the muscle belly of the chest is much bigger than the triceps. It has a way bigger mechanical advantage. But some of these lifters, they've been doing it for so long, they know where they're comfortable. They know what works for them, and we've seen way more abnormal things than a close grip bench for sure.
Absolutely, and bench press is one of those things that you can do, you have to be extremely consistent with. No matter how technical you are, bench is a game of consistency here. Caitlin Slovic, 80 kilo opening attempt, super easy, very negligible, 3 white lights.
So the commands,
Stephanie Scoville, same thing, 187 on 2.
Commands we're looking for in the bench press, you got 3 as opposed to the 2 in the squat. They're going to unrack it on their own. They may get a lift off from one of the designated spotters and loaders. It has to be one of our spotters and loaders on the platform. This way we have a consistent lift off throughout the entire meet. They can't bring one of their coaches or their buddies and they give them a lift off. It has to be one of the spotters and loaders. Once they're set with their feet flat, their butt on the bench, and their arms locked out, they'll get the start command. Again, that's permission to start. They don't have to start right then and there, but now the clock in the back becomes irrelevant. They may start. Then they'll lower it to their chest. Once it's motionless on the chest, that's when they'll get the press command. It's not a certain amount of time that the bar has to be on the chest. It's just once it's motionless. And then once they fully lock out, they'll get the rack command from the chief referee. That's when they can finally rack the bar. And one of the things to keep in mind is that these referees are still human. So each person has a different type of press command that they're going to give. You'll see some referees with a longer press command. You'll see some referees with a quicker press command. Because like I said, it's not a robot that's looking for a motionless chest. It's a human. So it's going to be different from referee to referee. The good coaches, the ones that have been doing it for a while, they'll take a look at the referees that are on the platform beforehand and see, okay, if I'm in flight B, let me look at flight A's referee. Are they giving long press commands? Are they giving short press commands? How do I have to adjust my play call? Do I have to drop the opener? Because you can change the opener. You can change the opener up until 3 attempts before your lifter's or your lifter's flight, or 3 minutes before your lifter's flight. So all those things have to be taken care of by the coach. Like you said earlier, that's what separates good coaches from great coaches.
Absolutely. Still cruising through openers here on both platforms, but we are nearing the end here. Jessica Bailey-Tyler is going to take 181. Judith Arias, easy opener there at 209 pounds. Kind of speaking to what you were saying, you know, every referee is going to be different with that press command. And from the coaching perspective, you know, limit all variables, make it undoubtable. If you're looking at a lifter and you're looking at a platform, or you're worried about that lifter making those press commands, train them. Practice learning how to long pause, practice tempo, practice those things that once you get into the competition and you run into those variables, you know how to adapt, you know how to overcome them without sacrificing the rest of your performance.
It's one of the things that comes down to the discipline of the lifter, and a lot of times when you see these people at these top meets, you know, you see them at Arnold's, you see them at Nationals, they practice that discipline day in and day out, and this is the result that they see from it. You know, are you getting press commands from your buddies at the gym? Are you mixing up who's giving you the press command? So this way you're getting used to someone who's giving me a long one, someone who's giving me a quick one. Because even a quick press command can throw you off because you're pressing, you're waiting for that chief referee to give you the long press command, and now you're pressing it out of nowhere. Or even if you're on your own, taking the time to pause the bench.
Absolutely.
We see it so many times, people doing these touch and go benches in the gym.
Here's Sarah Milicic getting a lift off for 220 pounds. Sarah, one of our only lifters to go 3 for 3 through the squat here, looking to continue the momentum. Finished out with a 435-pound squat. Very easy opener here at 220. Rose Wong on platform 1.
And Sarah is not a stranger to the national stage. She was a 2025 Collegiate Nationals champion in the 70-kilo raw division. Some of the best the nation has to offer at the collegiate division.
Heather Grinkley is up next on 2, looking to take the same weight. Mara Rosenfeld on platform 1, 203 pounds. You could even talk about another variable as well. Whenever you're wanting to limit the amount of things that can go wrong in the day. I like a lot what you said. Are you getting different people to give your press commands and things like that? Have different people give your liftoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
If you want to get a liftoff in the meet, have different people give you those liftoffs so you can practice how to control everything. When you're in a meet, you don't get that choice.
It's so tempting to get the same person to give you a liftoff in the gym every time because you want the perfect handoff, especially when it comes to you hitting a PR. You want everything to be perfect, but you got to come to terms with the fact that when you get into a meet, not everything is going to be perfect. You don't get to choose when you go to lift. You don't have to set a timer and be like, okay, well now I'm lifting in 5 minutes because that's what I'm used to. You lift according to comp standard all the time. Get somebody else to give you a liftoff.
Absolutely. We're just starting our second attempts here on platform 1. Catherine Newman's going to take 148. Madison Lewis, followed by Marissa Widener, our last 2 openers on 2. This is 231 pounds. Very smooth opener there for Madison. Great openers across the board here. Everyone is on the board following Marissa's opener bench here. So everyone has a clean run of their opening bench. So now we get to see some games being played. We've got a lot of our second attempts already loaded and are about to hit. So we can see how that's going to affect the thirds and how that's going to affect our overall placing here. Catherine Newman, easy second attempt there, going up 2.5 kilos. And you're going to see that a lot, especially when our ladies are benching and our lighter weight males are benching. Smaller attempts on bench are a lot more taxing on the body than a lot of people give them credit for. Because like you were saying earlier with the squat, it is a lot more of that weight that they're having to handle relative to their body weight. And so making even just a 5-pound jump can mean the difference between it moving extremely well, what we call RPE 6 or 7, super easy, to it just being stapled on your chest. Here's Tiffany Lung, again, doing that 2.5 kilo jump there. It's a safe jump. It is the lowest jump you can make. But in a meet like this where you were talking about building that total, you want to build that total incrementally. Taking those big jumps on bench, sure, you may want to take a 5 kilo jump and you may get it, but the odds of you not getting it versus taking 2 very nice 2.5 kilo jumps across those attempts, building that total, is a lot smarter of a decision.
Right, and if you take a 5 kilo jump and then you take a 2.5 kilo jump and you fail that third, you now only climbed 5 kilos when you could have done 2.5, and then save yourself the energy from failing a lift. Because like we spoke about on the squat, failing a lift takes a lot out of the lifter, and you just climb the same amount as if you were to attempt less total volume and in a more efficient manner.
Absolutely. Here's Kate Cohen. And now, again, lifter preference. We're going to keep repeating that. Lifter preference, lifter preference. Some lifters are used to taking those larger jumps. Some lifters take 5 kilo jumps, 10 kilo jumps even. We were seeing some folks yesterday 20 kilo jumps on bench, which is absolutely nuts.
Insane.
But Kate Cohen here, 5 kilo jump from first to second. Oh, but we're seeing a little bit of some shakiness here. That's going to be a no lift. When you see yellow lights across the board, that just means a failure to complete the lift. Yeah. And so going in, missing your second attempt again, right. Not only is that going to be tough on the performance, but that's got to be tough on the mindset.
And not the type of meet that you expect to see out of a lifter of this caliber. Like we said, she's been competing for 14 years, only got 1 squat on the board. Now she goes into her third bench attempt with needing to hit it to go at least with 3 attempts successful going into deadlifts. Not in the best spot when you have lifters like Margaret chasing her.
Sophia Schos, easy second attempt there, 80 kilos. Jessica Inyere taking her second attempt, 181 pounds, very smooth.
So with Kate Cohen not being able to climb up those extra kilos, she stays at 533 as her forecasted DOTS points, which puts her in second on forecast behind Margaret. where Margaret's at 537. And Margaret had an incredible day on squats. Like we said, finished with that world record. And if she can just keep hitting her lift, she's in the perfect spot to take the #1 spot today.
Yeah, Margaret Nassais with that world record squat did put her in an excellent position, and she has the momentum here in the overall standings.
She's 100% in the driver's seat, and we'll see her come up on Flight B on Platform 2. All she has to do is be smart and hit her lifts, and she is 100% in the driver's seat.
Good lift there for Dominique Guzman, 82.5 kilos. On Platform 1, Lauren O'Toole, our close grip fiend. 5 kilo increase, or sorry, 2.5 kilo increase there. That's going to be 3 wide lights.
So one thing to keep in mind is we have payouts for first place through 5th place. So all these lifters, whether they're first, second, third, they're jumping for different amounts of money. Someone who's in 6th place might be jumping for, you know, an extra $250 in their pocket. So someone like Madison Lewis later in our flight, who's currently forecasted in 3rd with 525, she'll be walking out here with a paycheck if she can just hit her lifts. And with Kate Cohen not doing so well, she might be able to jump her for 2nd.
Excellent lifts on both platforms 1 and 2 here. Kaylee Galsick, 5 kilo increase there. Easy second attempt at 187. Stephanie Scoville is going to come right behind. Stephanie fresh off a world record squat herself, taking 202 kilos. Easy opener, 85 kilos, going up 5 to 198 pounds. Platform 1, Caitlin Slovic's going to go up 5 kilos as well, 187 pounds on the bar.
And we speak about powerlifting being such a mental game as well. Remember, Stephanie Scoville sets that world record. It lasts for about 1.5 minutes as Madison Lewis came up right after her.
Absolutely right.
And topped that. Now, you get so excited for that world record that you have to watch it with your own eyes get broken just minutes later. You never even had the chance to hold that certificate. How does that mess with you the rest of the day? Does it mess with you? Does it mess with you on the bench or the deadlift and now you're starting to miss lifts, or do you stay in the zone and use that as motivation? This sport is just as much as the mental strength as it is the physical strength.
Absolutely.
So far, no issue for Stephanie. 2 for 2 on the bench.
Here's Megan Schroeder. Platform 1 gets the start command here. Another 5 kilo jump. Very smooth second attempt there for Megan. 3 white lights. Tiffany Ong up next on Platform 2. 203 pounds. Here's Jessica Bailey Tyler, 5 kilo increase here to 192.
So that ties her best bench in a meet for Tiffany Ong. She was actually injured for the past year, and she said that breaking a portion of these numbers of her PRs would be a win for her. And hitting that on her second attempt, I would say
that's a win.
Yeah, for sure.
She won.
So even a 2.5 kilo jump will give her a meet PR. You have to expect that's what she's going to go for, taking 5 kilos from her first to her second.
These are some strong second attempts from both platforms here. Only one missed attempt thus far. Excellent work there. Whitley, 2 white lights for 2 white lights for that second attempt squat there. Bench. Goodness, I'm getting all sorts of mixed up here.
I can't wait for deadlifts.
She did get one red light with a yellow card from one of the side judges, so it's very possible she saw her butt come up just a little bit. Maybe the heel came up just a little bit. 2 to 1 is a good lift. All we need in powerlifting is majority rules.
Correct.
Rose coming up to Platform 1, taking 97.5 kilos, 214 pounds for a second attempt bench. Judith Arias taking 226 pounds.
So like we spoke about, all you need is the majority decision, but we do have a jury here just off to the platform, and they can overturn any lift if it's challenged. So it's similar to if you're watching a football game and the coach throws the challenge flag. You could do that for any 2-to-1 lift, throw the challenge flag to the jury, and there's no limit to the amount of times you could do that. And you could do that for your own lifter if they have a no lift, or you could do it for someone else's lifter as well if they have a good lift that you think shouldn't have been good.
Good lift there for Rose, 3 white lights.
We see Judith Arias get the 3 blue cards. It was clear up and down movement. So once you press off the chest, it has to be one straight line up. It cannot dip back down.
From the referee perspective, when you're looking at up and downward motion, it's very easy to see a lifter kind of go up and down or kind of lock out unevenly, kind of stepping up that bar. One thing these referees are looking at is the whole of the bar, primarily that center knurling. If you see that center knurling dip at any point throughout the motion of that bench outside of its regular range of motion, then that's when those referees are going to call that up and downward motion. If the ends of the bar are coming up at different times, but the center of the bar is still increasing steadily, that's a good lift.
Right, you may lock out unevenly.
Case in point with Mara on platform 1. 2-to-1, she did lock out a little bit unevenly, but 2-to-1, that's going to be a good lift. Head referee might have seen a little bit of up and down motion. That's where that blue card comes in. But again, majority rules, she's on the board. And we're already on to our 3rd attempts on platform 1 here. Catherine Newman is going to take 154 pounds. Sarah Milicic, with her 2nd attempt, 237 pounds. Catherine Newman, a bit of a rough go on squat as well. She missed her opener, got her 2nd attempt, was able to retake that well, but she had a kind of a faster descent there, wasn't able to maintain control. And so she's had a clean run of bench thus far, making those first 2 attempts.
Yeah, a lot of times as coaches, we preach a short-term memory. Do not let those early mistakes affect you for the rest of the meet. You still have bench and deadlift to go, and a lot of times that's where you make up the ground. If you're just consistent on bench, and then you can just push that deadlift to load whatever you need to jump in placing or hit that PR total that you need, or whatever qualifying total that you may need.
That's a good lift there for Sarah on platform 2, and Catherine Newman was able to maintain that momentum, so she is 3 for 3 through bench. Things are looking up. Up next, Tiffany Lung, taking the same weight at 154. Madison Lewis, 242 pounds.
Madison Lewis currently forecasted 525 dots for 3rd place. Ahead of her is Kate Cohen with 533. You're going to see these guys flank each other.
Sarah Milicic having a great day thus far. 5 for 5 on the day. This is putting her at forecasted 4th. And like you were saying, our top 5 lifters are getting payouts today, so she's in the running for some money.
Madison Lewis making good work of that. Looking to climb up in those rankings. What does Kate Cohen have to say about that?
Smart move here, retaking 80 kilos. That first attempt, that 2nd attempt there at 80 kilos was just a little bit too heavy on the day. It looked a little bit more strength related. We'll see what she's able to come up with for this 3rd attempt here. Can she do it? She finds her way up. Kate Cohen, what an athlete. Are the judges going to give it to her? No, they don't. That's going to be 2-to-1 from both the side judges. I reckon that's going to be a butt call.
Yeah, typically when you see the 2 yellows on the side and not from the chief referee, it's the butt coming off the bench. And, you know, with something that's just a little bit too tough on the day, that's usually the first thing that lifters try to do to get that weight up.
And with that missed lift, that puts Madison Lewis ahead of Kate Cohen. So that just jumped her from forecasted 3rd into forecasted 2nd. Kate Cohen, unfortunately, dropping down a little bit with the forecasted dots here, around 527. Margaret Nassay is forecasted at 537. Or sorry, 537. Madison Lewis at 530. Kate Cohen, 527. So very close race, but it is slipping away.
And with that being said, we have to mention that forecast goes by the current attempt that you have loaded in. So Madison Lewis has her third attempt loaded in, but hasn't completed it yet. And if she doesn't hit that, that could drop her back down into third. So this next attempt is very big for Madison Lewis to maintain that second position, because that means coming out of bench, Kate Cohen would still maintain that second position.
Lauren Clapp, third attempt there. 2.5 kilo jump, safe jump. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the day. Like we were saying, all the difference between it moving super well and it not moving at all could be 5 pounds. But Lauren Clapp, 5 for 6 on the day. Great day thus far, taking some great momentum going into deadlift. She'll finish out with 165 kilos on the day.
Yeah, 2.5 kilo jump, you're not losing anything off your total, especially with bench. It usually doesn't fatigue you as much, especially for these lighter weight lifters who aren't throwing around the heaviest weight compared to their body weight. Still smart to shoot for it.
Sarah Kamis, ooh, good run there. Again, another 2.5 kilo run with these bench presses, and you're gonna see a lot of these third attempt benches. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but unfortunately, we're gonna see a lot of these third attempts probably be missed. The third attempt bench is the most statistically missed attempt across all 9 lifts. Obviously, we hope that's not the case. We hope our lifters can still stack on the total. But that's why we take these small jumps. When you take those small jumps, you don't lose anything off the total if you miss anything off that third attempt. Here's Dominique Guzman now completely throwing away the plan that I just said, going 2.5 kilo jump from first to second, 5 kilo jump from second to third. And that was just a little bit too tough on the day. She'll still come away with 82.5. Great run. Jessica Nyere on platform 2. Third attempt at 85 kilos. It's a little bit uneven. The bar is still coming up. Can she get the right arm locked out? It's so close. There it is.
And this is going to be a big judgment call on our referees.
2-1. That is a good lift, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the best grind we've seen on the day.
Oh, yeah.
That was nuts.
It's so close that you have to look over to the jury in a situation like that to see if they're deliberating. Right now it looks like we're all good. We haven't seen the jury get involved yet today.
Excellent third attempt there from Caitlin Slovic. 2.5 kilos, 3 white lights goes up. That's 192 pounds. Lauren O'Toole up next. On platform 2, 5 kilo jumps across the board. When you have those consistent jumps that are about the same weight in between, you know what to expect going into each one. And that might have just been a little bit too tough on the day for Lauren. She'll still come away with 85 kilos. Megan Schroeder doing the exact opposite, wide grip. Strong off the chest there, finds her lockout, 3 white lights. We're seeing a lot of made third attempt benches here. I love being wrong. That's my favorite thing. You want to see these lifters build the total as best they can, especially as we go into the deadlifts.
Carissa Giordano on platform 1, Hammer Forge strength athlete. There's 5 of them in this morning session and 2 later today. Hammer Forge coming in deep today.
Kaylee Galsick, 198 pounds, strong off the chest. It looks like she was drifting the bar towards her head a little bit, taking her out of her normal range of motion, so that's going to be a no lift there. Stephanie Scoville's up next. They're going to add on 10 pounds.
One thing to take note of with Stephanie Scoville, while that American record didn't last very long, she still got that chip on her total because she took the 202. You have to think that's intentional, because that comes into play when it comes to total time, that you have that extra chip on there instead of going a full 2.5 kilos. It is usually a big coaching decision to do that.
And a lot of times too, and you know, Lance and I, we're talking about placings, we're talking about who's going to get first, second, third, jockeying, all that. our lifters may have completely different priorities going into this meet. They may be just going into this meet to have fun. Maybe they had some injuries, like we were talking about with one of our lifters earlier, having sprained their ankle. Maybe they're coming into this meet just having fun, seeing what they can put up at the Arnold Sports Festival. Just getting here is a feat in and of itself. And so for a few of our lifters, maybe placing doesn't even matter. Maybe they're just trying to hit their lifts, see what they can do, and have fun on the day. Now, granted, placing and getting a little bit of extra money at the very end is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always a fun day till you're sitting at 6th, looking at 5th, and a bag to walk home with. But very, very good point. Some of these lifters are here just to register a total on a big platform. And like we spoke about coming into this, you look into the back of the convention center with these bleachers going up 30 rows high. You're looking into a sea of spectators for every single session throughout this entire weekend. No matter what the event is that we have here, those seats are so packed, you can't find a seat in the building. The energy is so high, and just competing in front of a crowd like this, as you see in the center of your screen, is such an honor.
I mean, just look at, I've made the joke a few times, you know, where USA Powerlifting, oh, what a grind there, Mara Rosenfeld. But we've seen, I made the joke yesterday, USA Powerlifting has our own little section here in the corner of the convention center, all I think about 10,000 square feet. This is a massive space just for USA Powerlifting. And we've got a ton of folks just walking past the fence and looking into the warm-up room, looking at the competition, getting exposure to the sport of powerlifting. And that's what it's all about. You know, a lot of times it feels like we're in a zoo a little bit. We're in the powerlifting exhibit.
Right.
But we are absolutely putting on a show. We are putting forth the best level of powerlifting for these guys.
And like you saw in that clip that we showed you earlier, of all the foot traffic coming by, people standing. You got the standing room only at this point, where people stop, they look, they take pictures. And when you have somebody like Gino on the platform announcing, that is also a big draw
it's
too.
Definitely an eye catcher.
You see the giant pirate walking around, and it's like, oh, what's going on over here? And then you stay for the lifting, and
Judith Arias retakes that weight, comes away after missing 102.5, comes back and hits it again. Very, very clean attempt there. Whitley's going to come behind, take the exact same weight. And we are on to our second flight of powerlifters on platform 1. Audrey's going to start us off with 93 pounds. Our adaptive lifter electing to go close grip as well. Gets the start command. Oh, wow. Very easy there. 3 white lights. Same there for Whitley. She goes 3 for 3 through her bench, which is huge. Going 3 for 3 through the bench is a feat in and of itself when you're talking about a powerlifting meet, but that gives you all the mental momentum that you need going into these pulls.
Right, you need to keep building that total over time. Don't get greedy, make the smart jumps, and that's what she does there.
Heather Grinkley taking her third here, 237 pounds. And Rachel Karam with her opening attempt on platform 1, 192 pounds. I love watching the setups that each of our lifters have. You know, again, lifter preference. Each lifter comes into the bench a little bit differently, comes into their lifts differently, different mindset, different thought process.
And a lot of times if you change that setup, you're changing the lift completely. You're changing the degree of the arch in the back. You're changing the tightness that you have in your lats. Everybody has their specific way of setting up, and you see that variance mostly in the bench. One thing goes wrong, one thing is off from what you're used to, and that could change your whole lift. You might not even see it leave the chest in a lot of these lighter weight lifters that have that big arch.
And that's a missed lift for Rachel Karam on that opener. Not sure what that was. It was red lights with yellows across the board there, so it's very possible it might have been a missed command there, or possibly we saw maybe a slip. Her butt came up possibly. Very likely she'll retake that going into the second attempt. Here's Quayla Hardwick. And now I did get a chance to talk to Quayla in between squat and bench there, just to get a little bit of a breakdown of what happened on her third attempt squat. She did get a replace call from the head referee due to her knees not being fully locked out, which is very common. If the referee doesn't see your knees not fully locked out, they'll tell you, okay, replace that, try again, straighten them out. Talked to her a little bit. She did that, but by the time she went and took her squat attempt, the referees that were on that platform had to go officiate a world record attempt on the other platform, so she didn't have the referees there. So that's why she got that relift there.
Okay. So exactly like we said, if they deem it's out of the lifter's control, they may grant the relift, which they did in the moment. As we head on to Madison Lewis, currently forecasted a 530 dot score. She needs to hit this to lock that in at the same forecast with her opener on deadlift. Kate Cohen currently forecasted in third place with 527. If Madison Lewis misses this, she'll drop down to 520 on forecast, dropping her down to third. It's going to be a lot of jumping between these two from here on out.
And we're not even on to deads yet. In deadlifts, we get to see some attempt changes as well. We'll get into that as well. But this is competition, folks. This is where the numbers game starts to happen. This is where we start to see some gamesmanship between our lifters.
Big attempt here from Madison Lewis.
Strong third attempt. 115 kilos, 253, 3 white lights. Madison Lewis solidifies a 530 forecasted dots.
And while Kate Cohen's not having the best day, 1 for 3 on squats, 1 for 3 on bench, she is an incredible deadlifter, very powerful deadlifter. You see it fly off the ground. So hopefully she can channel that and make up some ground there. She's so strong that with just one attempt, just her opener on the board, she's still forecasted in third and only 3 dots points behind second. If she can just execute on her deadlifts, keep that short-term memory, the squat and bench don't matter anymore. She could still walk out of here with second and maybe even first.
Absolutely. And this is not to take a thing away from Kate Cohen. Exceptional. She wouldn't be a national champion 2 years running at least if she weren't an exceptional lifter.
Absolutely.
We don't know the context of her meet prep, what all factors played into her meet prep and her competition today. There could be something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Even champions fail sometimes.
Absolutely. Like we spoke about with Taylor Atwood earlier, bombing out at the Arnold's years back, and now that's just another part of his story that we can tell. How the champion came about. And Kate Cohen, incredible career. She's a veteran of the sport, 14 years in it. World record holder, multi-time world record holder.
Here's Alyssa on platform 1 taking 209 pounds. Very smooth opener there. Maya Morgan on platform 2 is going to start off our second attempts for our second flight here. Maya, a bit of a rough go on squat, just coming in at the very end, making that third attempt. She is going to set us off with 170 pounds for her opening attempt. That's a good lift. Oh my goodness. Folks, I know you see some. I know you see some red letters underneath.
There's no way.
That opening bench press attempt here, and you see the banner across the screen. This is a world record attempt, opening bench press for Angel Wong. 220 pounds. This will match her best all-time bench press.
Angel Huang has had such a great meet prep. You see it on the platform. Opened up with a world record on squat, hit it again on the second attempt, and topped it on the third attempt. Now she opens up with a world record on bench.
And now she does have the national record already at that weight. The only reason this is now a world record is because we now have world-level referees on the platform able to officiate it. So now she's like, all right, let me go ahead and start the party. Her third attempt when she hit her American record was 220. She just opened with that.
This is incredible.
This is powerlifting at the finest level, folks. Stay tuned for some excellent bench competition later on. Jessica DiGiovanni, easy 220-pound opener there. Casey Cicero on 2, 192 pounds.
So one thing to take note of with Angel Huang's world records, they are junior world records. So probably wondering how she's setting these world records and she's forecasted 7th, because she's setting the junior world record. She's only 23 years old, or 22 years old, I believe. And she's up here at the Arnold's sports festival for our Female Raw Challenge, setting records along with some of the best athletes in the world.
And it's important to, kind of like you were saying as well, these are junior records that she is breaking. You are able to break open records, or you are able to break junior records in the open. Open is kind of that catch-all division. However, if you were just competing as a junior, for example, you could still beat those records. That's great, but you wouldn't be able to compete in any open division for any of the prize money or anything like that. Platform 1, starting off our second attempts here already, Audrey Kars, going up 7.5 kilos to 110 pounds. Estella Inman's got her opening bench attempt loaded at 102.5 kilos.
I think after this, Estella can go down to the next booth over and win the arm wrestling competitions they got going on over there.
She very likely could. I was watching some of that yesterday.
Yeah. She's got the guns.
And see, what a lot of people don't realize, the body is stronger when you train both sides. It's called the cross-education method. A little exercise science for you folks. Arm wrestlers only use one arm, so they're only training one arm. It's very possible. I don't even know that they could bench this.
Right, right.
Estella's out here repping it. Very possible she could take the throne here if she were to hop across the way over to the arm wrestling realm. Rachel Coram going up 5 kilos from that missed opener here to 92.5 kilos. And not a very common decision, but why would one make that decision, going up a regular jump from missing their opener?
A lot of times if they made a technical mistake that they feel like they can correct pretty easily and that opener moved very good, you might take the risk at moving up. Usually, I'm not one to move up after the opener because it is so risky if something goes wrong. And those technical, like we spoke about earlier with the squats, those technical mistakes are hard to fix on meet day when you've been training that way for the past 6 months or whatever it took for your macro cycle to go through. We'll see if Rachel can take advantage of it here. She wants to build that total.
Looks like a strong bench. We saw her hips come up just a hair, but that's a good lift. 3 white lights. So she's on the board there. Chloe Beasley taking her opening attempt at 231.
And I've seen Chloe Beasley's training pretty frequently, and she's looked amazing on the bench, and the 105 just flies. She's going to be in for a big PR today, and we turn our attention to Margaret Nassais, who is currently comfortably in our forecast at first place. Like we said, she just needs to be smart here, make the right jumps.
She just
building that total.
Really, she just needs to hit this opener.
Yeah.
And she's kind of got first locked in. She just has to hit her opener bench and dead, and it's really anybody else's game after that. And there we go, Margaret Nassais. 3 white lights, provisionally in first place ahead of Madison Lewis by 7 points.
Just cannot get greedy with such a strong deadlifter in Kate Cohen, who's
absolutely
just not too far behind her. And like we said, she's such a veteran in this sport that if you take your eyes off of these people and you get a little bit greedy and take yourself out of the meet, you might get caught.
Experience will win out more often than not, so you got to keep your wits about you, especially as you're trying to unseat a current champion. Quayla Hardwick also missing that opening attempt, going up 7.5 kilos. This is 214 pounds. Ooh, Maya Morgan. That's going to be a no lift there. It looked like she might have pressed a little bit early. Looked a little bit tough there, strength-wise as well. That looks like an extremely smooth bench there for Quayla. Yeah. 3 white lights.
Again, making another risky move, moving up after missing the opener. But she makes great work of it. Clearly she knew what she was doing.
Every now and then, these bold moves play out, Comp.
That's right.
Grace McKenna out of Georgia, platform 2, second attempt at 203 pounds. Jessica Alejandro on platform 1. Another 7.5 kilo jump here. It's about 15 pounds, give or take, for the folks at home. Both platforms moving about the same speed, which is rare.
Platform 2 is a little bit larger for the Flight A, but it's significantly smaller for Flight B, so it looks like they're syncing up pretty well, which is nice. It means our spotters and loaders are doing their job, getting people in and out, getting the weights loaded fast. Our referees are doing their job, getting the people on the platforms as quick as possible, calling bars loaded as soon as it's loaded. And we're moving at a really good pace here. Keeps it watchable for everybody. We're not waiting on a 5-hour meet. It's more like sitting around that 3-hour mark.
And it keeps it predictable as well.
Right.
When a meet is predictable and it goes at a certain speed, you can time your warm-ups better, you can time your recovery better, and it just allows for an easier meet experience for the lifter. Both Alyssa and Twee on platforms 1 and 2, both taking 220 pounds. A little bit of a slow second attempt there for Alyssa, so 3 white lights there. I imagine if she goes up, that's going to be a small jump. But one thing we haven't seen, and this is something to bring up, one thing we haven't seen throughout any of our lifts today is a scratched lift.
Right.
But we're actually going to pause on what that explanation is because we've got Angel Wong coming back up again.
Angel might be the star of the show today with everything that she's done. Like we said, every single attempt so far has been a world record attempt. We've seen her training go so well. And you see her giving the instructions to the person giving the liftoffs. Like we said, it always has to be the same person, and everybody likes it differently. 105 kilos, 231 pounds for a junior world record. Angel just competed in her first national meet less than a year ago.
And like we were saying, her opening attempt at 220 was her best registered bench across her meet career, and she opened with that. So we're already going 10 pounds, 11 pounds above that, 231. A little bit tougher as expected for a second attempt, but still very smooth for Angel. 3 white lights.
Right, I think 2.5 kilos is a smart jump for her third. Just get it in. I guess keep building those world records.
Absolutely. Or, and you know, kind of like what we were saying, what I was about to say, one thing we haven't seen throughout any of our lifters is anybody scratch their attempt. So let's say that attempt for Angel was super, super tough, right? Let's say it moved at a, what we would call an RPE 10, so you don't think you could do that again. What's a scratch lift?
So what you can do is you can put your third attempt in as 0, meaning you're not going to take a third attempt. So you don't necessarily have to take an attempt if you don't want to. This way you save the energy for deadlifts, or for example, if you're on squats, you save it for bench as well. This way you don't have to come out and fully go all out and tire yourself out because, like we said, we have the rest of the meet to go. A lot of times, though, you'll see a lifter register a lift in, and they'll put, like, let's say Angel wants to go 107.5 and she wants to scratch, and she just won't come out. She'll let the timer run. What they do in that instance is they're keeping the flow of the meet the same. So we spoke about before, it makes it more predictable when the meet is running at the same time.
Sure.
So she's trying to give all the rest of the lifters the same amount of rest that they've had before, because if she just scratches, it's going to skip her. So they might have a minute less in between attempts. It's just a thing out of courtesy for the other lifters. So you could either scratch or put something in and let that timer run.
Chloe Beasley just blasting off 242.
My goodness.
Kira Thompson, same thing, 264 pounds. Easy second attempt there for her. And we are seeing some heavy, heavy benches, folks. We're on to our third attempts here on platform 1. Margaret Nassais is going to round out our second attempts here on platform 2.
And Margaret came to play today. 3 for 3 through squats, hitting a world record there with 230 kilos on squats, 507 pounds there, coming up to 117.5 kilos here, 259 pounds. Such a consistent lifter. And like we said, sometimes it comes down to who is going to make the least mistakes. She's made 0 so far. Can she keep that going and keep building that total? And she smokes it. 3 white lights, the lift is good, and sitting very comfortably in that first place spot.
Audrey goes 3 for 3 on the day through bench. Solid work there. Followed up is Rachel Karam going up 2.5 kilos. That second attempt was a little bit tougher. I think 95 to 97.5 was the smart call there. Going 95 is going to give her a little bit extra energy going into deads. And Margaret Nassais with that made third attempt is going to take us into our our last attempts on bench press. Maya Morgan's going to go and retake 85 kilos. Second attempt at that was a little bit tougher on the strength side. And you can kind of tell there she was kind of waiting for that press command, almost kind of hovering it over the chest, and that's just a sign that the strength just might not have been there for the day.
Casey Cesaro taking 2.5 kilo jumps here, 92.5 to 95.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders for Rachel. She will only get to post that 92.5 bench, but she is on the board. Casey Cicero, her last attempt here, going from 5 kilos to 2.5 kilos for the attempt scheme here. Here's Brianna looking to retake 95 kilos on platform 1, 209 pounds. Casey Cicero with the grind of her life.
That's exactly how you want a third attempt to look, getting everything she can out of the bench. Perfect on the day so far, 6 for 6 for Casey Cicero. Another hammer forged strength lifter.
Bars loaded up next for Grace McKenna. Brianna with a strong bench. The judge is going to give her a good lift on that one. She'll come away with 95 kilos added onto her total. Up next, Miss Quayla Hardwick. 220 pounds for her last bench attempt. We've got a lot of love in the chat for Quayla. Here's Grace McKenna on platform 3 while Quayla's coming up. Beautiful third attempt.
Yeah, very smooth. Never a doubt.
A ton of room left in the tank for Grace going into pulls. So that's exactly the spot you want to be in.
And she's perfect on the day so far as well. Very clean lifting so far.
All right, here's Quayla, bars loaded for her, 220 pounds. Self liftoff. Here's the start. Smooth.
Yeah, nice
But I
grind.
wonder about that right foot. Oh, I knew it. I knew the refs were going to call it. I was hoping they wouldn't, but they did. I'm not sure we'll get a replay on here, but that left foot looked like it raised up a little bit. That heel came up. And unfortunately, that's going to make it a no lift. Now, we did get a yellow card from the other side, so it's possible that referee saw something as well there. Quayla still on the board, does have 97.5 on her bench. Smart move there, taking that miss, going up for a decent jump, and then taking the small jump for the third.
That was a good eye on your part, being able to see that from here.
Here's Jessica, going to take the same weight here, 220 kilos. 220 pounds, excuse me. And that's just too much on the day. Like we said, 2.5 kilos, 5 pounds can be the difference between a brick and a feather.
Stella Inman on platform 2, making a 2.5 kilo jump, 110, 242 pounds for this lifter, and makes it look just so easy.
3 white lights. Estella Inman, an athlete in every respect, 5 for 6 on the day.
As you mentioned earlier, a Division I thrower for UPenn.
Here's Alyssa on platform 1, taking 226 pounds. Another self lift off, Erica on platform 2.
You mentioned earlier, Erica, a very good deadlifter. She's carrying good momentum so far, 5 for 5, and it looks like she's gonna make that 6 for 6.
Now it's just a bit too heavy on the day for Alyssa. 2.5 kilo jump, saves a little bit on the total there. And we've got I mean, we're going to say it all day. Play the hits. That's what's working. Angel Wong, her sixth world record attempt here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
We spoke
going
about
up 2.5 kilos.
We spoke about her training going so well, and I mean, the platform speaks for itself. Finishing with that world record attempt on her third attempt on squat, finishing with another one here on bench. She's got it on her second, making a 2.5 kilo jump, 237 pounds for the 75 kilo lifter. She weighed in at 165 body weight this morning, 237.
Here's Chloe Beasley. While Angel's getting set up, Chloe Beasley, 2.5 kilo jump to her second. Very smooth. 6 for 6 on the day for her. Here's Angel, world record attempt. Her own world record attempt, 2.5 kilos up.
Just a little
bit too heavy.
She took the 2.5 kilo jump. She took the safe call. Already has a world record squat and the world record bench on her second attempt. You can't ask for much more. Yeah.
You have 5 world records instead of 6. Okay, my bad. Here's Jessica DiGiovanni, 110 kilos, 242 pounds loaded for her. Margaret Nasays, our last bencher of the day on platform 2, taking 270 pounds. Margaret sitting comfortably in the top spot.
Just executing perfectly once again. We said it's going to be who can hit lifts, and Margaret continues to hit lifts.
We're seeing some excellent benching here to round out the fight. Jessica DiGiovanni, 3 white lights. And we are now on to our last bencher of the day, Kira Thompson, 122.5, 270 pounds.
This will
Bar
match.
is getting loaded up for her.
This will match the best bench we've seen all day, just done seconds ago by Margaret Nasays.
Kira Thompson, another national level competitor looking to continue her pedigree here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Taking her time getting set up. Again, we were saying that routine, any misstep in that routine can be the difference between making it and not making it. Here's Kira Thompson.
Easy looking attempt for Kiara.
That was a darn near perfect third attempt there for Kiara. And that's going to be the end of our bench press coverage for the Arnold Sports Festival Female Raw Challenge. We will see you guys here in about 10 minutes. We're going to get the platform switched off. Get ready for the deadlifts. That's when the real party starts. The weights hitting the floor. We will see you in about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. The party has started. The weight has hit the floor. It's time for the deadlift, for the female Raw Challenge here at the USA Powerlifting section at the Arnold Sports Festival, coming to you from Greater Columbus Convention Center in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nick Stevens with my exceptional, intelligent, striking co-host,
Lance London. You're too much. You're too much, man. Yeah, this is where wins become losses and losses become wins. We're going to see a lot of changed attempts come third attempt time, because remember, the third attempt is the only attempt that you can change in the entire meet. The third attempt deadlift can be changed if you want to jockey for position. So we see a lot of these top people, we see a lot of these top lifters who are very close in dot score. We're going to see a lot of changes to try to strive for that money. Here we go.
Jessica Bailey Tyler, platform 1. Judith Arias, platform 2. Easy opener there for Jessica. A little bit of a tougher go of the opener there for Judith on platform 2. That's going to be a no lift 2-to-1.
Yeah, so we saw Judith drop the bar before it hit the ground. You have to follow the bar to the ground. It's one of those ticks that some of these lifters have where, you know, you're used to lifting in the gym and you just kind of drop it at the last second. She let go, and we see it hit the ground. The judges catch it. No lift for Judith.
And now the deadlift, as we're getting into our action here, it's going to be arguably the least complex of the 3 lifts for both our lifters and our referees. They only get one command. That's the down command. Like every lift, they'll get their bars loaded command. That'll start their 1-minute timer, so long as they initiate their lift. So as long as that bar starts to move within that 1 minute, then the lifter is within their time.
Yeah, I believe the way the rule book states it has to be a bona fide attempt at the lift.
And then from the referee perspective, what are some things that we're going to be checking out here?
So just like the squat and the bench, it has to be one straight movement up. You cannot dip it down. No up and down. You can't support it with your quads. So if you get it above the knee and then you kind of rest it on your quads by shifting your hips forward, you can't do that. That's going to be a blue card. You have to stand up tall with your shoulders back. You can't have soft shoulders where you're hunched over a little bit. Stand with the shoulders back. Obviously the commands. We are allowed a sumo and a conventional pull. So you saw our last 2 lifters, conventional pullers. We see the sumo lifter on the side, Sarah.
Tiffany here looking to do those sumo stance as well. Mara looks to be doing conventional stance, and again, everything is going to be for lifter preference. And a lot of times the position of lifter's deadlift is going to be kind of indicative of where we might see them miss. And so we can kind of see and kind of gauge what their performance may be throughout the rest of the competition. So for our conventional pullers, they're going to find a little bit of an easier time coming off the floor, just because very often they're able to wedge a little bit deeper. We're going to find a lot of those misses come kind of at lockout. Once we get to knee level, just past the knees, getting to that lockout point is going to be our toughest point. Conversely, with sumo, it's going to be a lot tougher coming off the floor because you have to maintain your technique a lot longer. But for our lifters that are taking their time off the floor, it might not look like it's moving at all, and then out of nowhere, boom, the bar shoots right up.
Right, there's a lot more leeway with conventional where you can kind of just, they say caveman the deadlift up, where you just lift it right off the ground. Sumo, there's so many technical errors that can happen. You have to keep everything dialed in. Stephanie Scoville's had a great day so far, going 6 for 6 through squat and bench. See how deadlift goes for her today.
Smooth opener there. Dominique on platform 1, same thing, 363. Very smooth. And as our lifters are registering their opening attempts, they are starting to post totals, which means they are starting to post current dots scores. So if you guys want to follow along live and see what we're checking out behind the screen here, go ahead and check out www.liftingcast.com/meets. Go to the USA Powerlifting Arnold Female Raw Challenge. Go ahead on over to results or board, whichever tab you want to check out, and you can see all of the live attempts as we see them completed, and we see the attempts as they're being loaded into the website.
Yeah, so like we spoke about, you need to register an attempt for each of the lift for your total to count. So as soon as these lifters get their deadlifts on the board, because we haven't had anybody bomb out early on squat and bench, they will officially be in the meet with a registered total with the opportunity to build on top of that for their second and third attempts.
Got the bar loaded for Sophia Schos on platform 1, 374. Jessica Inyere on platform 2, 391. Always love seeing folks give love to the spotters and loaders. And deadlift for the spotters and loaders is kind of like a rest. You know, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of moving around for bench and squat. And then for the dead, all we get to do is pick up the bar, load a little bit of weight, and just watch our lifter perform.
Yeah, well, with that being said, though, it is the toughest position to load weight in because you are hunched over trying to get those plates on there.
That is fair.
As far as spotting goes, yes, the back spotter kind of just has to remain there, make sure the lifter doesn't fall over because, you know, it is kind of a risky sport, especially with the deadlift. Sometimes you'll see lifters get lightheaded and they'll start to, you know, wobble a little bit. That's what the back spotter is there for, to catch that lifter if they do maybe topple over a little bit.
You know, I know folks that just get a little bit lightheaded standing up too fast.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know, you're putting all that extra pressure on your body. It's always important to have that back spotter there, just in case you get a little wobbly. We have had it happen before. Luckily, no one this weekend has had any issues. We're coming to the end, already coming to the end of our opening deadlift attempts for our first flight here. Kate Cohen, platform 1, 429 pounds, a solid 12.5 kilo increase from the prior opener. Now, this is going to set the tone for the rest of her attempts. Currently sat in provisional third place. Obviously, we've still got Margaret Nasays and Madison Lewis still to come. Madison Lewis here in just a few seconds. Heather Grinkley on platform 2, easy opener there.
Kate Cohen not having the best day on squats and bench, but we spoke about it earlier. She's an incredible deadlifter. As you see that opening attempt fly, she weighed in at 105 pounds this morning. That's 429 on the bar, nearly 4 times her body weight as an opener. And this is where she makes her mark. This is where she catches up for those mistakes early on. This is where she can get back into second or maybe even first place. She's a veteran in this sport. She's been through everything that you could go through. Can she finish it off and work her way back up?
So she does solidify with that attempt. She does solidify 527 dots, putting her in third place, solid, locked in, with her second attempt that she put in that will jump her into second. But that is provisionally because we've still got Madison Lewis here on platform 2, opening with a world record attempt at 429 pounds. Moving like absolute butter.
Does not get better than that, opening up at a world record attempt, and the lift is good. We are going to see some drama here in Columbus, Ohio.
And this is different than unlike other meets. You know, normally when you're going against somebody you're in direct competition with, you're in the same flight as them, or they're the flight after you, which is the case for, which is the case for Margaret Nasays over on platform 2. But you're also having to look at the competition on a separate platform.
Right.
And so not only did Kate Cohen take that opening attempt, she had to turn around and watch what Madison Lewis did for her opening attempt, just so she can gauge what she can do and put in for her second. Now, in that instance, you can kind of play the clock. Once you finish an attempt, you have 1 minute to put your next attempt in. And so when you do that, you can kind of use all of that minute. If you're looking over the next attempt, if your competitor is about to take their attempt, you can take it all the way down to 1 second, see what they hit, and put your next attempt in right after
because
that.
you can't change that second attempt, but you can change that third. So once you put in that second attempt, you cannot change it from there. So like you said, you have to be smart about timing this up right.
Judith Arias on platform 2, missed second attempt. So she missed her opener, 155. She got a yellow card and a blue card. We noticed that she did drop the bar there. One thing we noticed that she put on her legs that she did not put on her legs last time is baby powder. What is that white stuff?
So baby powder works as a dry lubricant for the quads, so it allows the bar to slide up the quads. So it's different from chalk, where chalk dries out the hand so they can grip the bar. Baby powder is slippery, so this way it slides nice and easy up the legs. You don't get caught on any type of dry skin, or like, you start to sweat. Sometimes you get sticky. As we see Judith Arias miss on strength on her second attempt.
And that opener was a little bit tough, and so going up in weight to that second attempt does put her in that tough position. We'll see how much of a gamer she can be. I imagine she's going to probably retake that for the third. Yep, she goes ahead and puts that in there. And she's got to kind of dig a little bit deeper if she wants to post a total. Lauren O'Toole, easy second attempt there. Same for Sarah on platform 1.
So as we keep an eye on our standings here, Kate Cohen loaded in 202.5 for her second attempt, which would jump her back into second place, given that both her and Madison are successful. So that would put her at 536, and Madison would be at 535. You have to think this is intentional by Kate Cohen, like you were alluding to earlier. She waited that time to see what Madison Lewis was going to do, and now she loads up just enough to be in front of her. So in the event that they both hit, even if they both miss, Kate Cohen still gets that win on her third.
That's right. On the forecasted dots, that would put Kate Cohen not even a full point ahead, so just enough to get her ahead of Madison Lewis in that second place spot.
Like we spoke about earlier in the bench, it's what separates the good coaches from the great coaches. Can you punch that in the calculator quick enough? Because dots points is totally different than going by total. You can't do dots points off the back of your hand. The formula is way too complicated.
You almost have to pull up a separate application, a separate website to type that number in, just because you need to do it within a minute, and you got to do sometimes multiple calculations within that minute.
Right.
Dominique Guzman hits a little bit of turbulence at lockout, like we were saying, very common with conventional pullers, but a strong lockout nonetheless, 3 white lights. Kaylee Galsick on her second attempt, here's 385 pounds. Very easy there. Kaylee's had a great day thus far. Hitting a 160, 352-pound squat, 85-kilo bench press. Very likely going to do about 180 to 182 for her third attempt deadlift here. We'll see what she puts in for the third. Whitley's going to come up next with 180 kilos. Rose Wong on platform 1, taking 385 pounds. Seeing some very excellent and smooth second attempts, which is exactly what we want to see. We don't want them to be necessarily too easy. We don't want to leave too much in the tank, especially on deads, but we want to play that line very, very carefully because we want to give enough to leave it all in the tank come the third attempt.
Right, especially if you're battling for position, you have to imagine that that third attempt might be something that's overshot a bit. So if you're loading something on that third attempt that has a chance to fail, you still want that second attempt to be able to carry your total. So you don't want to go too light to save too much in the tank. You still want to build that total with the second attempt in the event that you have to overshoot on that third and something bad happens and you fail.
Sophia shows Stephanie Scoville, both sumo pullers.
See Sophia gripping right on the smooth part of the bar. So you're going to see if you see the color changes in the bar there, that very dark black spot is all smooth. Everything else is knurled, so the knurling digs into your hand to help with grip. That smooth part is really hard to grip. So probably using a hook grip there to aid her in that, but that's still not easy to grip.
Here's Marissa Widener, Yep, this is going to be 185 kilos, 407 pounds. Second attempt here for her. Megan Schroeder on 1. Oh, looks like a little bit of a grip issue coming off the floor there. Very common. Probably just needed some extra chalk. Sometimes that's literally all it takes, just putting on some extra chalk, making sure that the bar isn't very powdery. It's very common that if a conventional puller is coming before you and they have a lot of powder on their legs, as a sumo puller, you're going to be pulling directly on where that powder is. So you want to be sure we brush the bar off each time, as we saw referee Rachel Basiora instruct our spotters to do so.
Right, and every 3 or 4 lifts between first and second attempts, you'll see them brushing off the bar, but it is brushed in between each third attempt lift. So every third attempt we'll see the bar brushed, and actually the coaches can request to brush the bar in between first and seconds as well.
Oh, here's Catherine, 2-1. It's going to be good lift. Looks like she came off the platform a little bit gingerly there, so hopefully there's no injuries. We'll see what she puts in, if she puts in anything for her third, or if she comes out. Again, had a great run through bench, solid first 2 attempts here, so hopefully she's okay enough for her third. Jessica Inyere, a monster 418-pound deadlift for a second attempt. Big jump from the first attempt there, 177 to 190.
Kate Cohen and Madison Lewis gonna be doing both world record attempts at the same time. If both successful, we're gonna have Kate Cohen go into second and Madison Lewis into third. If one is successful over the other, we'll see the successful person who has a successful attempt jump into second.
As
this
a
is
handler,
huge.
This would be a nightmare.
Nightmare.
As an
absolute
a
nightmare.
handling nightmare. Both
you
lifters,
might see Madison take her time here to come out.
And I would. You've got it. You can use your full minute so long as the bar is loaded.
Kate Cohen, the veteran, 202 and a half.
Caitlin took that, and now she's going to watch and see what Madison does on her second attempt. But since Kate Cohen pulled first, she now gets to see what she wants to put in for her next attempt versus Madison Lewis. Now, a very important note, as we go into our third attempt, so you mentioned this before, you are allowed to change your third attempt deadlift 3 times. So you can put in your first attempt. Let's say you want to change your mind, you can change it, put it in again. Let's say you change your mind again, you can do that one more time.
Madison Lewis to move. Wow.
That's
easy.
Strong. That's strong. Kate Cohen's going to need to put up another very strong deadlift in order to compete with that. Both world records. We completely just glossed over that fact. We're just talking about the competition. Both of those were world record attempts.
These are world-class athletes, and we're seeing it today. Both world records, both going for the second place, and possibly to put some pressure on Margaret Nassais, who's coming up in Flight B. Kate Cohen put in 207.5 for her third, which would put her at 543 on forecast. We're still waiting on Madison. There goes Madison Lewis's attempts, which will put her at 540. She put in 205.
So she is banking. So with that call there, putting the lower number in, she is kind of banking on Kate Cohen, who's already kind of had a spotty day, objectively had a very spotty day. She is banking on her missing that third attempt, and that last attempt being 205 could be all she needs for that second attempt. Now, Kate Cohen will very likely pull first. If she makes it, Madison Lewis can always change that third attempt and put in something a little bit higher. That was a very strong second attempt, so only putting up another 5 kilos is a relatively small jump, equal jump from what she hit for her first to second, but she could be saving a little bit of gas. We will just have to wait and see, folks. This is where the competition is at. I highly encourage everybody to take a look at liftingcast.com/meets, scroll down to the Female Raw Challenge for USA Powerlifting, and tune in. This is exceptional competition, folks.
Very important to note that if both miss, Kate Cohen will get second. She'll be locked in at second. So if Madison pulls first and she fails, Kate Cohen can just load up to try to beat Margaret Nasace's current total.
It is
current
really
forecasted total.
It's Madison Lewis's game to lose right now.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, it is her game to lose. So
it looks like Kate Cohen is going to pull first because they are flying.
yes, and that's, again, this is where the timing of the meet can matter so much in terms of just how the competition moves. And I guarantee you, not many people, even just watching this, can understand the intricacies of how this is working. Platform one, not to be outdone. We're on to our third attempts here. Clean third attempts from Caitlin Slovik, Jessica Bailey-Tyler, Carissa Giordano. Tiffany Lung is up next, going to take 374 pounds. Unfortunately, going to be a no lift there.
She weighed in at 64 kilos body weight, pulling 200 keys. That's nothing to sneeze at. Also, one thing we haven't spoke about is Sarah here. She's in fourth. She might have the opportunity to jump, given the event that these two missed their third, Kate Cohen and Madison Lewis. She might have the opportunity to jump in second. She's currently forecasted at 5:30 with this attempt here.
And being the last puller in the flight, you've got a ton of advantage here. You
have
get
all
to
the
see
advantage.
everyone compete before you. Your work is cut out for you. Let's see, though, this second attempt, like we've said multiple times today, that second attempt is going to matter. So we're going to see how fast this moves.
Sarah sitting in the shadows of the two.
Clean
They're
run.
battling against each other and forgetting about Sarah over here.
Sarah, 8 for 9 on the day. Very clean run, 486 dots. Sorry, 460 dots.
Sarah Michlich.
Okay.
Okay, so that is very important to get on the board. Let's see what she does for her third. We still have Kate Cohen to go, who's currently in second. And then we have Madison Lewis, who is currently in third. Then Sarah will have an opportunity to answer. But our first place is Margaret Nasace currently, who looks pretty comfortable in that spot.
And kind of a similar situation where, you know, if you're pulling last, you get the advantage. Technically, Margaret Nasace pulls after everybody.
Yep.
So she
Like
gets
B.
to see how the entire pack shapes up, and she gets to play her game from there. Again, you said even just a forecasted opener, she's sitting pretty comfortably in that top spot. We're going to have to see some pretty crazy attempt changes here on the third attempts. We're going to take a look. Here's Judith Arias looking to get on the board here at risk of not being able to post a total at all on the day here. She's going to retake 162.
Huge lift for Judith. Oh, and unfortunately cannot get it. Great catch by our spotter there. And, you know, we spoke about it earlier. Unfortunately, that is the reality of the competition that we lift in. But this is not the end of the story for Judith. She's a great lifter. She's been on the national platform before. We saw her at Raw Nationals last year. And unfortunately cannot register a total today, but that does not end your story. We spoke about it with Taylor Atwood competing at the Arnolds. The greatest powerlifter of all time has been through that. Hopefully Judith can take this.
We all remember when
learn
Brandon
from it.
Petrie bombed out at Nationals.
Yeah.
It happens, folks, and what separates the good from the better from the best is how we take that performance, how we recover, and how we apply that to the very next. We will see her in June. I guarantee you we will for Nationals.
Oh, what a fight from Lauren O'Toole. That almost paused in the middle. 2-1.
Goosebumps,
The
ladies
lift
and gentlemen.
is good.
Lauren O'Toole, exceptional day. Finishes out with a 442 dots. Literally leaving it all on the platform. 177.5 kilos. 385 pounds. We've got Rose Wong on platform 1 here, 407 pounds.
Tiffany Ong with 407. This would match her best. Remember, she said she got injured during prep, and anything that she could take a PR with, she will be glad with. Matching her best. This would give her a 467 dots. She came in with a 462, so she'll have a PR dots. Big lift for Tiffany here. As we see Rose get the 3 white lights, the lift is good.
And what a grind that was. Tiffany Ong, 185 kilos, 407 pounds. Intentional with the setup here. Can she get past the lockout?
Nice.
She does. Come on, she tells the judges. Give it to her. 3 white lights. What a day for Tiffany Ong. 9 for 9. Our fourth lifter to go 9 for 9 on the day. Caitlin Slovic and Jessica Bailey-Tyler both went 9 for 9 earlier as well.
As we see, Sophia can't get that lift registered on the board. That was her first missed attempt. It was a great day for her so far up until that point. You know, 8 for 9, you'll take that any day of the week. 492 dots for Sophia.
Kaylee Gausick, 185 kilos, 407 pounds. And we are coming into, it's unfortunately not going to go. Megan Schroeder taking her final attempt, 190 kilos, 418 as well. And we're coming on to our last round of deadlifters here on Flight A. And we are coming on, this is unfortunately not going to go there for Megan Schroeder, but let's keep the competition going.
This is where us being coaches comes into handy because we can decipher these numbers. So Kate Cohen currently with a 536 dot score. If she is successful, this will move her into second place. Then we have Madison Lewis, who will have a chance to answer that and move back into second place. This is a world record attempt for Kate Cohen. The battle for second goes between Kate, it goes through Madison, and it goes through Sarah Michelich.
Oh, whoa. I don't know if we're checking out. Actually, let's pause a little bit. Let's see what Kate Cohen does here. But I've got a little bit of an attempt update here on platform 2 with Sarah Michelich. She put something in, and for her third, that's going to put her into provisional third ahead of Madison Lewis.
Right.
Oh, this is the best part of it, folks. But let's take a look at Kate Cohen here on platform 1. 207.5 kilos, 457-pound world record attempt here. Stephanie Scoville as well on platform 2, 424 for her third. Here's Kate Cohen. Looked a little bit hairy at lockout. That's 3 white lights. Kate Cohen currently in provisional second at the moment. 543 dots points here. And we're going to go into our second flight over on platform 1. Action is not done on platform 2. This is where the competition is going to keep going.
Madison Lewis currently has 205 in, which would put her at a 540 dots. That's only good enough for 4th place. She would need to change her third attempt, which she still has the opportunity to do. And we see Heather Grinkley, who is changing her third attempt to move into 5th place. Remember, awards go to 5th place, so we have a lot of drama coming up here.
We're watching like a hawk. We're seeing if Madison Lewis is going to decide to move to an attempt that's going to increase that number. I imagine her coach or handler is doing some math right now. Lauren Clapp finds her way to lockout with 192.5, 424. A good lift there. Audrey Kars opening up with 117.5, our second flight here on platform 1. That's going to be a good lift. Bars loaded for Marissa Widener on platform 3, 195 kilos, 429 pounds. Still have yet to see any attempt change from Madison Lewis here. I believe we are just waiting till the very last minute. Currently with the attempt that she has in there now, it's going to put her in her provisional 4th. Depending on what she puts in, though, Heather Grinkley can always change her attempt to knock herself into 4th, putting Madison Lewis into 5th.
It would take a lot for Heather to get to that 4th place spot. Currently with 519 dots. To get to 535 would be a huge jump. But hey, we're at the Arnold Sports Festival. Anything could happen.
Kira Thompson, easy opener there, 165 kilos. Jessica Alejandro coming up next with 374 pounds. Jessica Nyere standing up 200 kilos, 440 pounds. Can she finish the stand-up? Oh, she
just gonna get stapled. Oh,
she gets stuck in the ever classic conventional sticking position just past the knees. A solid run for Jessica across the board, though. 7 for 9 on the day.
So here we go. Madison Lewis, no attempt change.
Nope, she is going to keep that weight on the bar. in that regard, Madison Lewis just playing her game, getting on the board, because if other people miss, that leaves the door wide open. So as long as you play your game, you hit your attempts. This is another world record attempt for Madison Lewis, by the way. But so long as she just hits this attempt, we could see Heather Grinkley possibly miss, going to put something in for the fourth or the third attempt.
This would actually put her currently into third because she's at 535 to 540. But then Sarah Michelich can out-jump her because she's currently at 530.
Puller. That's right. Madison Lewis, perfect call there.
Right.
Perfect call there, playing your game. The game of consistency, and we see it time and time again. That is going to put you in the best position possible. Madison Lewis, 9 for 9 on the day. You want to talk about execution, look no further than that, folks. That means the game is everyone else's to lose. Madison Lewis already coming home with some sort of a paycheck. It's just a matter of how much.
So when you're looking at these standings on the screen, this is all forecasted. So technically, Madison Lewis is currently in third, and Sarah Michelich is projected in third. So Madison Lewis puts herself into third place with that attempt. Sarah Michelich has 227.5 loaded, which would put her at 542 dots, just ahead of Madison Lewis, 540 dots.
What a grind. Heather Grinkley, 205. And that's going to be a good lift. Heather Grinkley, that is going to keep her in 5th place behind Madison Lewis, having not changed that attempt. So she will still come away in 5th place, getting a paycheck on the day. Stacy's going to come up next with 207.5.
Angel Huang on 187.5 kilos, 413. She's had an incredible day so far. We've seen world records earlier. And
5 for 6 on world records.
Just keeps that momentum going.
3 white lights there. Rachel Karam coming up next, 190 kilos. We are on our second flight of powerlifters for platform 1. Platform 2, want to be sure we get the bar nice and cleaned off. Again, you know, we've got a lot of powder, a lot of chalk going on. Want to be sure each of our lifters have an even playing field. Here's Rachel. Strong opener there. Stood up with authority, 3 white lights. Alyssa's up next with 440 pounds loaded. Here's Stacy taking 457 pounds. We're seeing some interesting developments here on the LiftingCast, and we'll get into that right after Stacy goes here. Unfortunately, just too much given on the day. She did leave it all on the platform, 8 for 9 on the day up until the last deadlift. You can't ask for a much better day than that. 2-1, good lift for Alyssa. We've got Sarah Michelich. I've been pronouncing your name wrong all day. I do apologize. Sarah Michelich changed her attempt down to 222.5, putting her into provisional 4th, which then moves Madison Lewis up to provisional 3rd, Heather Grinkley into provisional 5th. We wonder if this is just the safer call on the day. Perhaps that was just a call they were waiting on, see what everyone else is going to hit. And then, like we saw with Madison Lewis, just playing her game, doing what she knows she can do best.
That's right.
What she knows her strengths are on the day, executing there like she's been executing all day. Currently 8 for 9 on the day. We'll see what she does with this last pull, 490 pounds.
And it looks like with that, as long as Margaret Nasace just hits her opener and stays in the meet, she will be the #1 lifter of the day.
That second attempt for Sarah was a little bit hairy as we got to lockout, so perhaps this could be the safer decision from her coach and handler. Yeah, again, safer decision there, dropping down a little bit. That does keep Sarah Michelich in 4th place.
So we do have some lifters in this later flight that could possibly out-jump and get into that 5th place spot and walk out of here with a paycheck. So we'll have to keep our eyes on these lifters in Flight B for both Platform 1 and Platform 2. We'll see how that shakes up moving forward as we see Audrey lock out that deadlift there. 135 kilos, 297 pounds, and the lift is no good. Looks like she had a couple of up and down movements there. Chloe Beasley with her opener of 172.5, 380 pounds. Wow.
Very fast opener there for Chloe Beasley.
She skips off the platform. Looks like she's feeling it today.
Maya Morgan coming up next, 385 pounds. Kira Thompson taking her second attempt over on Platform 1, 177.5.
So the number to beat to make it onto the podium, because remember we have a 5-person podium at our national meets, is 519 dots. The next 2 closest would be Quayla Hardwick at the end of this flight on Platform 1, who has a current forecast at a 505. She's in 6th.
Stephanie Scoville and Rose Wong right after that have already done their lifts. Stephanie at a 501 dots, Rose at a 496 dots. So they are sat pretty comfortably where they're at. No chance of them increasing or decreasing their dots. They've already lifted. But Angel Wong does have an opportunity to possibly creep into that spot. She's only sitting at a 495 forecasted dots. So depending on how the rest of her pulls go, she could be in the running for that money as well.
Right, because we see our 7th and 8th are not separated by much, separated by 5 points, and Angel's just 1 point off of 8th. So depending on how it shakes up with Quayla and Angel here on Platform 1, we may see some jumps into that 5th place spot.
Grace McKenna getting 429 loaded up on Platform 2. Jessica DiGiovanni, 402.5 pounds on Platform 1. And this is that part of the meet now where having, like we said, kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, having that deadlift advantage could mean the difference between winning, losing, money, podiums.
It makes attempt calls so much easier to be a better deadlifter, because now you can look at what everybody else has done and make a call based off of that. Spoke about Erica and her deadlift earlier. Very good deadlifter. She's pulled over 500 pounds at one point. Let's see if she can top that today. It's all going to start off with this opener of 440.
Whoa!
And I mean, you could
ideally you're supposed to take your warm-ups in the warm-up room. That's what they tell you.
Told me that was 1 plate on the bar, and I would have believed you.
Brianna Quintana going up 7.5, 413, giving her a bit of a time at lockout. 2-1. That's a good lift. Now she did get a red red card underneath that red light, which is indicating that your either your shoulders or your knees are not fully locked out when you have appeared that you've completed the lift. So if your shoulders kind of look a little bit more hunched over the bar, if your knees look what's called soft, or they look not fully locked out, that's what that red card would mean.
We got 3 Hammer Forge strength lifters back to back. We just had Casey Cicero with a successful attempt. You have Estella Inman on 2, and you have Angel Huang on 1. And she wants to hear the crowd.
She's
been feeling
please.
It today.
I would appreciate it if I could get a crumb.
197.5, 435 for Angel, 205, 451 for Estella. We spoke about Estella's deadlift earlier, and wow, flying off the ground.
What an opener. Oh my, this is why I love deadlifts. The party has already started.
Margaret Nasace, 232.5, 512 pounds.
Again, like you were saying, all she has to do is hit this. She will be your champion for the Female Raw Challenge here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Angel Huang, 3 white lights. What a day it's been for Angel so far. Margaret Nissace for the win on her opener.
Yeah, I'll pack it up now. I'm retired.
There's so much talk coming into the meet about who is going to be hovering around that #1 spot. All these ladies jockeying back and forth, going between the squats, the bench. Margaret comes in and just annihilates it. 6 for 6 through squat and bench, hits the deadlift opener, and locks up the win with her opener. Now it's just time to have fun. What can we load up on the bar for Margaret? Your Arnold Sports Festival Raw Challenge champion.
Chloe Beasley here on platform 2, 407 pounds. Chloe having an excellent day thus far. Also 7 for 7. And we're going to make that 8 for 8. Beautiful, almost textbook sumo attempt for Chloe Beasley. Alyssa on platform 1. Bit of a tougher go at lockout, but she finds her way. 451, 3 white lights. We were talking about some folks here in this second flight. Quayla Hardwick, one of those individuals very likely, depending on how the rest of her attempts go, could put her into the top 5 spot. Currently sitting at 6th with, if she hits this lift, we'll give her a 505 dots. Currently, the score to beat is 519. I'm not entirely sure what the deadlift number she would need to get that number is. Like we said, it's a very tough calculation.
It would
you got to
probably
put
take
it
like
into
another 10 to 12 and a half kilos for sure.
And Quayla, unfortunately, having a bit of a rough go on squat, having come back, starting off the momentum strong for her opening deadlift, going up 12 and a half kilos to 479. Quayla Hardwick. Strong. Good lift there for her. Twee, 446 on platform 2. Good lift for her as well. Checking out the lifting caster, seeing what Quayla puts in for her third attempt.
You got to think she's going to shoot for it. She's got nobody tailing her, really.
From a gamer standpoint, I would absolutely go for it. You know, you don't really have a game to lose here. That second attempt was a little bit hairy, so if it's a matter of being consistent and finishing it out, I would say have a conservative attempt. But like you were saying, putting something in for 5th, got to go for it here at the Arnold.
We actually do have somebody to keep our eye on. Erica put in 235 as her second attempt on platform 2. She jumped from 200. That's a 35-kilo jump.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
So,
whoa.
Not immune to big jumps here, clearly. So we might see her try to jump in the 5th because that 235 would give her 500. Now, one thing to keep note of is 500 is a huge, huge milestone for a lot of these lifters. She might be just loading that up now instead of taking 2 jumps, and this way she has 2 cracks at that number. Who knows? We'll see what she does moving forward. But 2 things to take note of. A 35-kilo jump from Erica, who will come later in the flight on platform 2. First, we have Kiara Thompson on platform 1 with 187.5, and Casey Cicero with 215, also taking a pretty big jump, 15 kilos.
I believe that is our biggest jump of the entire weekend across all lifts thus far.
It's definitely in the question.
Across our women, for sure. 35-kilo jump is well over 75 pounds. Casey Cicero, that's 3 white lights. Estella's going to follow up. Here's Kiara on platform 1. Strong finish there. 3 white lights. Kiara Thompson finishes out 8 for 9 on the day.
Stella Inman with 485. And just making it fly.
Here's Jessica on platform 1, 418 pounds. Can she fight her way to lockout? She does. And she's stoked about it. Come on, referees. Let's give it to her. 3 white lights. It's almost got me jumping out of my chair. Come on. Here we've got Erica on platform 2. Again, 35-kilo jump, a monstrous jump.
This will put her right at the 500 dots mark.
I mean, we saw how easy the opener was, so I'm not surprised.
518 pounds. Oh, my goodness. She might be able to jump into that 5th place spot if she wants to make a bigger jump.
Yeah, so I imagine that was a good lift. 3 white lights, yep, and was. We're going to be taking a look. I mean, that was a 35-kilo jump. If she's used to those larger jumps, I imagine maybe even a 10 or a 15-kilo jump might be in the cards there.
To get to 5th place, she would need a 519 to 520 dots. So we'll keep you guys updated on what she ends up doing. But first, Margaret Nassais with 245. We spoke about it before. She locked up the competition early. This meet is hers already. It's just adding to the total, and she does.
Look at that. Your national champion just widening the gap. Also, good grab there by the spotters and loaders on platform 1 for Brianna. Just a little bit of a spill finishing out the end of that lift. Just a little bit too much on the day. Margaret Nassais, like you were saying, though, absolutely blowing up 540 pounds. And we are on to our 3rd attempts. We are actually almost done with our 3rd attempts here over on platform 1. Platform 2, we're just getting started. Maya Morgan's going to take 195, 429 pounds. Jessica Alejandro, 15-kilo increase to 435 pounds. Not a small jump. It'll just be a little bit too much on the day. We are in good spirits, though. We gave it all that we had. Jessica finished out 7 for 9 on the day. Angel Wong up next. One of our folks could be in the running for our top 5 positions. She's currently in provisional 9th. With this will give her a 500 dots, so not necessarily enough to put her into that top 5.
500 dots is a huge milestone for a lot of these lifters. It's the first milestone we had that would allow you to get your pro card. It's where we consider these lifters the elite of the elite. Angel Huang, 202.5, 446 for her 500 dots. She's had an incredible day, seeing world records early, huge PRs, and to cap it off with a 446 and a 500 dots, flanked by Chloe Beasley, 195 kilos, 429 pounds.
Chloe Beasley slower off the floor. She finds her way to lock out. Same for Angel. Both lifters look like they are going to finish out their day with good lifts, and they do. 3 white lights across the board there. Angel Wong finishing out in 9th place. Finishing in the top 10 at the Arnold is still a feat in and of itself, so big congratulations to Angel there, on top of 5 world records. Let's not forget that bit.
What a day.
Chloe Beasley, 9 for 9 on the day, another exceptional feat. Grace McKenna, she did miss that 2nd attempt on strength. She's going to try that one more time. Let's check her out on platform 2. Platform 1, Rachel Karam, 462 pounds. That was so fast, Grace. I missed it. 3 white lights. There it is. Here's Rachel. Big brace for the last attempt here. She gets it off the floor. Just not going to be enough on the day. She'll finish out with 440 on her last deadlift. Platform 2, 462 pounds. Tui win. And then over on platform 1, Alyssa's going to take 468 pounds. Big deadlift on platform 2. Just a little bit of a grip issue on platform 3. Alyssa's going to miss that, but Tui is going to make hers on platform 2. Quayla Hardwick on platform 1.
Didn't want to shoot for that 5th place spot. She's just shy of it.
Still a 517 dots on the day. Nothing to sneeze at. 6th place at the Arnold. Estella
Huge.
Inman on platform 2, having only missed having only missed her last squat, looking to keep her energy going. And this is a world record attempt?
This is a world record attempt, and it's to break her own world record attempt of 225 kilos that she hit at Raw Nationals of last year, and to enter the 500-pound club, Estella Inman. Her first year of powerlifting, 2 world records.
D1.
Division I athlete just coming to take over the USAPL.
And that's going to be the end of our lifts over on Platform 1. Unfortunately, Quayla not able to come away with that last deadlift. She'll finish out in 7th here with 217.5 kilos loaded onto her last deadlift. And we've got our last 3 pullers on Platform 2.
Casey Cesaro going to follow that up with another 500-pound pull.
I appreciate the chicken leg socks. I always do. What a place jump. 23rd to 14th. Casey Cicero.
What a fight
Boom,
to
baby.
lock that out.
There it is. Come on. What a lift. Casey Cicero, 3 white lights. Exceptional day, 949.
Erica here going to 252.5. This is a world record attempt, 556 pounds. So this is another big jump, 17.5 kilos from her second attempt.
This is going to give her a 517 dot score, just a little bit under what she needs for that 5th place spot. However, Erica's playing her game. She's been doing that all day. She's 8 for 8 thus far. Finishing out the day with a world record attempt. Let's see what the jump is.
17.5.
Almost a 20-kilo jump. Almost 50 pounds added onto her 3rd attempt deadlift. Finishing out with a world record. Already breaking the 500 dots mark. Breaking into a world record on her last attempt. You cannot ask for a better day for Erica on her very first Arnold appearance here in Columbus, Ohio. 252.5 kilos, 556 pounds. Let's see what we've got.
And we said it earlier on squat. She was going to give us a show
That is
on the
nuts.
deadlift. 556
Come on.
for a world record.
Come on.
Looks like she's losing.
Got a
little
excited
lightheaded, yeah.
there. Good catch there by Mr. Leslie.
And we're going to head to our champion. She locked it up on her first attempt. Margaret Nassais, 258 kilos.
And no, this-
568 pounds for another world record attempt, an open world record attempt for your 2-time defending Raw National Champion within her weight class. Comes in and just annihilates the competition. Here to lock it up with a world record.
Margaret Nassais staking her dominance in the USAPL. 258 kilos. She's done. She's done it. Come on, referees.
Good.
The lift is good, ladies and gentlemen. Margaret Nassais, your Arnold Female Raw Challenge champion, coming home with the top payday, your gold medal winner for the day. Kate Cohen coming in at 2nd place, Madison Lewis in 3rd, Sarah Michelich in 4th, Heather Grinkley in 5th. You want to talk about one of the best fights I have ever seen live. You want to talk about this top 5.
You could not write up a better story for Margaret Nassais today. She's, like we said, a 2-time national champion. She goes in, she annihilates the squats. The squats were easy. Bench was easy. She put herself in the perfect spot to lock up that 1st place spot. She does it on her opener on deadlifts. You get to the end, and she loads up a world record in the open division for her weight class, the 82.5 kilo weight class. Ends with a 570 dots. You could not draw up a better day for Margaret Nassais. She is the champion, undisputed, and she's got this momentum going into nationals where we'll see her in another 12 weeks.
Absolutely. And not to be outdone, you want to talk about the battle between Kate Cohen and Madison Lewis. It really came down to execution there. Kate Cohen having a bit of a rough start going through squat and bench, only making 1 attempt for each, did leave the door open for Madison Lewis to come in and almost take a shot at that 2nd place spot. It really did all come down to deadlifts there. Kate Cohen showing her experience. Multiple-time national champion showing that when it comes down to it, making your lifts, hitting your execution is all that matters between getting the next top spot. Madison Lewis, still an exceptional day.
And that's where that pro experience really comes in.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's where that pro experience. You go in, you go 1 for 3 on squats. You go in, you go 1 for 3 on bench. You're behind. You got to make up. What do? You go into your best lift and you go 3 for 3, loading up 207.5 for Kate Cohen. It's where that veteran 14-year experience comes in. Her sports psychology background of keeping your head in the game and still being able to get to that silver medal position. And don't get me wrong, silver medal is nothing to sneeze at. Margaret Nassais killed it, but Kate Cohen getting second place here is amazing, especially after starting out with that rocky start. It's so amazing watching this woman compete. She comes in, she kills it every single time.
And it's no doubt we'll see her in 12 weeks as well. She will be competing at Nationals in Chicago. We also want to give a quick highlight. I mean, Sarah Michelich coming out the woodwork, Erica coming out the woodwork with massive deadlifts.
Right.
Putting them in the running for those top spots. You want to talk about people that have bright futures in this sport. Sarah Michelich, Erica, this is their first time being at the Arnold Sports Festival, likely their very first time on the national stage. I very much hope we get to see them in 12 weeks. I want to see this battle play out again.
Right, yeah, I want to see it play out again. And next year, hopefully, same spot, same place, we'll be here again and see these 5 really battle it out once again. I mean, Margaret, total dominance today. Kate Cohen, you know she has that ability to get up there. Madison Lewis definitely showed us that she has the ability to play with these top contenders. And then you see our 4 and 5 spots with Sarah and Heather. They came out and put on a show today. And then not to mention our 6 through 9 lifters who finished 6 through 9, they were all within that reach of getting 5th place as well. All it takes is a couple of kilos on either of those lifts and we might see something special.
That's absolutely right. And right before we finish out, we want to make sure we give us enough time to give ourselves set up. We've got a whole other session coming up after this. We've got the male Raw Challenge coming up at 2 o'clock. But before we give ourselves a quick sign-off, I want to give a quick shout-out to all of our sponsors today. Obviously, our presenting sponsor, A7 Demand Greatness. They've been our presenting sponsor, one of our closest sponsors here at USA Powerlifting for many, many years. They've got a table set up right up to the side here. We're always grateful for their support. We're also going to give a quick shout-out to Titan Support Systems, Hansu Powerlifting, Texas Strength Systems, as well as one of our newest sponsors, Nike, one of our new primary sponsors, providing special discounts and weightlifting shoes for our competitors. Without any of their help, we wouldn't be able to have any of our production today. We also want to give a quick shout out to Primo Chalk as well, keeping our hands on the bar today. And then not only that, our referees, our spotters, our loaders, our Barbell Productions team providing the production, commentary, and live stream for you guys.
100%. There's so many people backstage making things happen, and without them, none of this is possible. The live stream isn't possible. Without the spotters and loaders, nothing. You know, they put on a great show, and hopefully we're going to continue that great show into the male session.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and sign off here, give ourselves a little bit of a break, something to eat. We're going to go ahead and continue the action here at 2 o'clock for the Male Raw Challenge. Be here or be square. We'll see you soon. And then I am mistaken, we do have Parabench at 1, so be sure to tune into that. We do have the live stream on YouTube. Be sure to check that out as well.
Here we go, bars loaded.